and Nasty on a Tuesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN 201. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. With Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. Appreciate everybody tuned in today. The Cardinals are back in action tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. It'll be Miles Michaelis. No, they didn't. They didn't win either, but they didn't lose. That's good. Take it. Yeah, true. Miles Michaelis goes tonight versus Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin has been darn near unhittable. Different guy. I think you're thinking of Zach Efron.
Oh.
Different spelling.
This is cousin.
Both for the first name and the last name. So not related whatsoever. But good to see you, Jamie.
Good to see you too, Anthony.
Yeah. So we'll have the lineup game coming up in 10 minutes or so. But Jamie, you and I were talking about this in the office. When you think of the Cardinals, and not just this year, but over the last couple of years, and we have seen the text response, we have heard from Cardinals fans, whether it be mic drop or otherwise, we know that a large portion of the fan base feels as though that this organization has been cheap. They've been frugal. They've been unwilling to, quote-unquote, go for it. But if you look at just a couple examples this year, the Mets being the number one team because they have the top payroll in baseball. The Mets are not going to make the postseason this year. No team outside of the Mets has a higher payroll than the Yankees, who right now are on track to not make the playoffs. No team in the National League has a higher payroll outside of the Mets than the San Diego Padres, who are on track to not make the postseason. So spending big doesn't always equate to success. It doesn't even equate sometimes, in the case of those three teams, as even making the playoffs. Now, the Rangers should make the playoffs. Rangers could win the division. They're fourth in payroll this year. And then the team that is fifth this season is, I forget off the top of my head. I got it here in a second here. The team that is fifth is the Phillies. And the Phillies last year snuck into the playoffs, and as we know, they got on a run. Yeah. Could they do it again this year? They're starting to play better baseball. They got a doubleheader today against the Nationals. So if we know that spending and spending alone doesn't equate to winning necessarily, if we go to like the talent evaluation standpoint, hey, you got to be the best talent evaluators. I don't know about you, Jamie, but a couple of the teams that are really good at talent evaluating because they have to, teams like the Rays, they don't spend. They're going to evaluate talent not only in their farm system because they know they're not going to be able to retain a lot of their players, but they're going to pick your pocket too. Randy Rosarina.
Oh, boy.
The Brewers, I would put in that category too. The Brewers paid Christian Yelich, but they also are a team that, as we know, they're not going to spend big a lot of the times. They have to be keen talent evaluators. I would also put the Giants in that category. The Giants missed out on Aaron Judge. They missed out on Carlos Correa. They let a lot of their existing top money guys go from the previous regime, and they have gone with more youth, and they've been kind of mixing and matching 1-year contract, 2-year contract guys. I think they're pretty good when it comes to talent evaluating. 108 wins 2 years ago. But what if those teams won big?
Nothing.
Right. The Giants won in 2010, 12, and 14. Different team. Completely different team, run by a different guy. You can't include them in that. I guess my question, Jamie, is do we really know what it takes to build a successful team? Because if it's not spending, and it's not necessarily like spending alone, talent event alone, I realize it's kind of a mixture of the two. But even if you look at the Braves, is there a concrete way to win?
No, I don't think there's one specific way, but it's knowing what you have on your roster, what you have in your system, and blending it the right way. Mm-hmm. So the percentages for the Braves, let's say, might be talent evaluation at like 60%, paying the money at 40% of a breakdown, right? And where other teams like the Padres, it's spending the money at 80% and then building a team properly at 20%. Like, it's the combination that you have of it. And I think for the Cardinals, it's going to have to be a mixture of things. Like, I feel like the Astros are a really good mixture. I feel like the Dodgers, although they have some high-priced guys, they evaluate properly, they draft well, they develop from within, and then they either use those players for their club or use those players to get players to help their team. And they spend the money. So they're a combination of both. The Cardinals have to be the same way. The Cardinals have to figure out how to be the Rays as far as evaluating talent, but also be somewhere in the top echelon for certain players.
Yeah.
Their overall payroll doesn't have to compete with the massive markets. And if you're sitting, listening right now and you're getting angry about that, the DeWitts make so much money. It doesn't matter.
It's irrelevant to this conversation.
Completely irrelevant to this conversation. What they have to do is evaluate the young players and develop them properly, and then evaluate free agents properly. This is something they have not done well.
No.
At all. I don't even know if they try. I'm not being mean. I'm not. But when you look at some of the free agents, you're like, were you really trying? Or was there just a very specific group of players that you had an allotment of money for, and you picked the best of the worst?
Bingo.
Okay? But that's where it has to change.
Yeah.
That has to be upgraded. It doesn't have to go from Corey Dickerson to Shohei Ohtani. But you got to find somewhere in the middle here. You have to be, your franchise has to be in the conversation when people are talking about Aaron Nola and Blake Snell. Well, the Cardinals are very interested. Hearing that John Mozeliak and the Cardinals are it has to be there.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've heard this before on other plays. Well, they finished second or they finished third. It's fine. That happens. That will continue to happen. You're not going to get every player you go after, but you have to be in the conversation. You have to be willing to hit that price point and then let the player make the decision. If the player doesn't want to come here, that's fine. But I can guarantee you this. If you're building the team properly with really talented players and you're willing to spend some money on some high-priced items, most players are going to like that.
Yeah.
And most players do like the tradition of the Cardinals. And I'm not talking the Cardinal way and all that. It's not the game changer that it maybe used to be, but it's in the plus category. So if I'm Aaron Nola and I'm looking around and I want to go to a contender, I want to know what they have. What's on their roster? Well, they got Arenado, they got Goldie. They've got some good young pieces here. And you're looking at even more that you're seeing guys, the prospects. Okay, this is a team that can bang. They got some offense. Defensively, they have been very good this year, a little bit of an off year. So as a pitcher, you're going, okay, and I got a pitcher's ballpark. And they're going to pay me exactly the same as team X, Y, or Z. That is not as good or that doesn't favor me. That's when you make the choice to the Cardinals. It's not like, it's the Cardinals' advantage right away. You can't be blinded by that. You can't be arrogant enough as the team to think that just because we're the Cardinals puts us right to the front of the line. It's not the fact anymore. So you got to spend the money, evaluate the talent that you have from within, and also evaluate other free agent talent that you just haven't been able to do.
I think teams that cheat the process in Major League Baseball wind up paying for it in the end. What I mean by that is the two obvious examples are the ones that we've used before. The Mets try to cheat the process. They figured Steve Cohen came in. He figures as long as I spend on the top free agents, I'm going to be good, and that hasn't been the case.
He thought this is easy,
right? The Phillies, I don't think it's going to work out for the Phillies. I could be wrong. They win a World Series. They win one World Series. All of this would have been worth it. But when it comes to the Phillies, you suffered one injury in Rhys Hoskins this year, and then you've kind of had issues. Trey Turner has had a bad year to the point where the Phillies fans felt bad for him enough to give him a standing ovation all weekend. He hits a home run on Sunday, big 3-run home run, and took out a billboard sign to thank the Phillies fans. And hey, thanks for being.
Well, he's got enough money to do it, Anthony.
He certainly does. I think the Phillies have tried to cheat the process. I think the Padres have definitely tried to cheat the process.
I don't know about the Phillies. I don't know if I can agree with you on that. They built a pretty good team.
Trey Turner, Nicholas Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, Zach Wheeler, JT Realmuto. None of these guys grew up in the Phillies organization.
No, where'd they finish last year, though?
They finished in the World Series.
So I would think, from my personal perspective, that worked. It got them there. Those guys carried them through. Castellanos was a Gold Glover in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Schwarber hitting bombs, Harper, all these guys, the guys that didn't come up through their system, got them to a World Series last year. I know they didn't win, but I think Cardinals fans would take a World Series appearance.
Of course. How long does that buy you?
The World Series?
Yeah, if they get bounced because they didn't win.
With this same roster, I don't know if it buys you all that much time because I feel like with this same roster almost, and you even added, the expectations are probably higher.
Right. So if they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs this year.
And then that's deemed a failure.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, great. Then you and I agree on that part. Because you're right. They got to the World Series last year with all that talent. 20 whatever teams didn't. So, but if you're going to spend that way, then you better be reaching at least the league championship series every year, right? If you're going to spend that way. To me, the Cardinals fit into this category, but in a different way. They're 17th right now in payroll. But I think where they have cheated the process is by doing what you described and what I've talked about a lot. What do we need? Just get the one need in the offseason. We're good.
Well, let's look in the pile of players, too. So to further your point is what do we need, okay, and what's not the most expensive.
Right.
So let's go
try to cheat the process.
Like a left fielder, an outfielder. Okay, outfielders. It's, Mike Trout. Oh, that guy's way too expensive. We got to go to this bin over here. Corey Dickerson. Oh, okay, yeah. He's, our guys have him evaluated right at the top of the list for this tier of player.
Right.
That's the problem. They identify what they need, but then they go to the discount bin in that position. One
of the most frustrating comments that any front office member made for the Cardinals this offseason, I thought just happened with right at the deadline with Michael Gersh. What he said about we needed a pitcher last year and we needed a catcher, and we got those things done, I thought was one of the most short-sighted comments by any member of the Cardinals front office that spoke publicly this year.
Yeah.
Because it undermines the problem with that thought process. We go into, you know who could do that? Do you know who could look up and down the roster and say, "Oh, we need this. Let's go out in the offseason and make sure we fill those two needs"? Do you know who could do that?
Anybody.
Fans. We could do that. Media. We could do that.
Oh, I could do that.
That takes no real talent. That's not a talent evaluation process. It is simply, I need eggs. I better go buy some eggs. It undermines the problem that the Cardinals have had for years now. And I think when they try to cheat the process by saying, we just need one thing and we'll be good, you deserve this type of year. I'm sorry. You do.
Well, they've done it over and over again. And I think that's
exactly. It's
repeated
point, behavior.
And you've said this before, is it's not just this last offseason. It's not just this season. You go back and you didn't address things for years on end. And you continuously tried to put a Band-Aid on it. You tried to get the John Lesters and the J Haps and rejuvenate them, and which you did a pretty good job, quite honestly. Then you go get the Jose Akendos last year, a little bit of a reclamation. Jose Akendo. They already had him. Jose Quintana. I always do that. That's like your guy.
Yeah. I do it all the time.
Either way, they got Quintana.
Gio Gonzalez.
Yeah, that guy. And he came in and was a rock star for you. So you're like, all right, that's all we have to do.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, you should have addressed it like 2 or 3 off seasons ago, knowing that there was a fork in the road coming here.
It's kind of like preparing for a test the night before. It's just a cram session.
Fresh on the brain, no, Anthony.
Yeah, I gotta tell you. Wake up, I feel good. I was cramming all night, dude. You didn't learn it. You didn't learn the material. That's what I did. That's what I did too.
I don't need to learn. I just need to pass.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. I don't have to learn this stuff. It's better when you learn it. It's better when throughout the course of the year the knowledge sticks to you. You can apply it. You can understand it. When you cram for the test, right, you might pass it the next day, but did you really learn the material? No. Can you apply it moving forward? No.
Probably
can you
not.
Build off of it? Because you're going to have another series of tests next year.
And you'll cram for that one, too.
And then eventually you're 5th place in the NL Central. You know what I mean? It all connects.
Well done, Anthony.
Thank you.
Well done.
They need the answers to the test that Jamie usually provides.
They certainly
I try
do.
to.
They certainly
haven't been listening.
We might need the answers to the test coming up because we got the lineup game and we have not been good. Actually, you know what? Didn't we get a perfect lineup last time?
I can't remember.
I think we got a perfect lineup last time.
You're really testing me.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, lineup game next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, women's soccer is on the world stage, and quite honestly, there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. They're always taking care of their customers, and right now, new customers can get the no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. What that is, Anthony, and I know you're puzzled looking at me right now. What that is you get $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/fast.
I wasn't puzzled. I was absolutely intrigued, Jamie. But FanDuel, I mean, it makes sense. FanDuel's got all the odds. They've got the bonus plays. They've got a series of things constantly. There's like, okay, this is a cool feature. How about live betting? You know, you watch the women's U.S. team lose, and you think, okay, well, I'm done with the tournament. No, you don't have to be. You can watch live. You can watch the games live. You can bet live. You can bet on player props. You can bet on team props. FanDuel's got all the action for you. They do a great job too of making the app safe, secure, super easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. So, BT, tell them how to get signed up.
So what do? You sign up for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 at FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/fast. That's FanDuel.com/fast to sign up. 21 and over, President, Illinois. First online real money wager, only $10 deposit required. Refund issues, non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Earlier start for the Cardinals today, so we've got an earlier edition of the lineup game. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, the Fast Line on 101 ESPN, 5:40 local time. Cardinals get it going against the Rays at Tropicana Field. It is, I said that weird, Tropicana Field. Zach Eflin.
Tomato, Anthony.
Versus Miles Michaelis, a pair of right-handers on the hill tonight for the Rays and Cardinals, respectively. All right, with the right-hander on the hill, Jamie, what are we thinking? Grinder? That's what I think, too.
Yeah. Grind it up here, Marshy. Show us.
Yeah. That's on us. Show
the
us.
Grinder.
Lars Newbar, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm grinding.
Okay.
Okay, show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Yes, please. Show us. Yukon Cornelius.
Hurry up.
Gold! Rich with gold! Gold!
Anthony, if I may, just for a second here.
Yeah.
If somebody gets the day off to get them off their feet today, I might lose my ever-loving mind. They just had a day off yesterday.
Right.
But Ollie did this earlier in the year. They had a day
2
off,
days off.
and then Goldie was like out the next game. Oh, it was a scheduled day off. Not that Goldie, doesn't need a day off, but
Yeah.
some of these guys are the only reason we're watching.
Very true.
So, all right, I just had to get that out there into the universe.
They had Sunday off, too.
Oh, no, they didn't, Anthony. No, they didn't.
What?
I know. Hard to believe, but no, they were there.
They didn't play on Sunday.
They didn't play offense, that's for sure.
Gorman here?
I'd say it's Norman Gorman.
Please show us Nolan Gorman, please.
There's a storm coming, Ari.
Did I say Norman? No.
I did. I said Norman Gorman.
Storm and Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. All right. May I?
Oh, absolutely.
Show us. Nolan Arenado.
Nolan is a security guard at the lumber yard.
I do like that one, too.
Me too. Yeah, that's a good one.
Very much so.
What's that from, Marsh? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it's from Big Mama's house. That's what the text line told me a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
That's awesome if it is.
I don't know which number, though.
The way you said that was absolutely perfect.
Anthony, have you seen the Big Mama series?
No, I have not.
I saw one of them. I can't remember which one. There's
Yeah,
like 2 or 3 of them. I saw the very first one.
I couldn't tell you that there was a series of Big Mamas.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to give it away. It was Martin Lawrence that
Okay.
They,
I have a vague
they dress
vague
him up
memory
in
of that.
he plays an older woman.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fun.
It's just Big Mama's house, the one that was released in 2000.
This is the one I saw then.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Not to be confused with like Mrs. Doubtfire, who also has a man dress up as.
Correct.
Yes.
Different.
Yeah. He did that too.
Or Tootsie, for that matter.
What is that? I've never seen that.
Dustin Hoffman was the first one, I believe, to dress up in women's clothing to portray a woman in a TV show.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Dating myself a little bit on that one, Anthony.
Yeah.
But
That's all right.
Tootsie, Mrs. Doubtfire. You had a few other ones too.
Wesley Snipes dressed up one time, I believe. Tu Wong Fu, Mike
Yeah.
Ryder. Yeah. It's not Tu Wong Fu, Mike
Oscar
Ryder.
De
Mike
La
Ryder
Hoya
told me that.
also did it too.
Well,
he dressed up in women's clothing.
Didn't Marv Albert did the same thing for
Marv Albert too, an avid undergarment wearer.
Yeah, I don't think those were for
No, they weren't.
feature films.
Although Oscar De La Hoya did make video on it.
Yeah.
Now, Adam Sandler dressed up as, I believe, his sister in a different movie. What's the
True.
movie called?
Oh man,
Jack and Jill, I
Jack
think.
and Jill.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
I've
another
never
one
seen
too.
it, but I
haven't either.
remember
It's
the
probably
title.
a good thing.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if...
Yeah.
There's another one
Sandman,
too.
I like you. I don't know if I can watch this one.
No.
This one
That
seems weird.
my buddy Michael Rosenbaum. Remember that we had him on the show? Oh yeah, sorority chicks. That was another one. Yeah. All right.
Anyways, so
show
Wilson
us
Contreras here?
Big Willie Contreras.
There we go.
This one goes out to all the big willies.
Wilson, are you naked? No, Tim, I'm wearing a hat.
I just love that one.
No, Tim, I'm wearing a hat. All right, so 6 here. This has been Tyler O'Neill. This has been Jordan Walker. I don't think recently, like Alec Burleson has seen the 6th spot here. But if Tyler O'Neill's in the lineup, Jamie, I think it's Tyler O'Neill.
He has to be in the lineup. I mean, unless he's hurt. I don't know. It's a long walk sometimes from the car to the stadium.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. I say Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, go with it.
Show us Tyler O'Neill.
Oh, wow, Marshy.
Sounder for the...
Got the memory of an elephant, that Marshy kid.
No sounder for the ton.
Does anybody get a sounder? Is it pretty? Oh, no, they had lots of
There's a
runners in
couple of-
scoring
yeah.
position.
Yeah. They've had some hits. Just-
Yeah.
The memory of an elephant? Is that what you said? Do they have good memories?
They have outstanding memories.
I mean, I watched every single second of that game on Sunday, Anthony.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
No,
You didn't.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
But still, elephants do have outstanding memories.
And you could imagine if I did.
Sure. Yeah. Imagine if I did.
All right.
Walk it like it's hot here.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right, let's walk it like it's hot, please. Show us Jordan Walker.
Walk it like it's hot. Walk it like it's hot.
Okay.
All right, so now we've got Newbar, O'Neill, and Walker in the outfield.
Newbar, O'Neill,
theoretically.
Walker. Gorman's at second.
Gorman at second.
Contreras behind the dish.
But who's the DH? Is this where Burley comes in? Edman has to be one of these.
Right. Yeah, you need a shortstop. I think, okay, where do we have Tommy Edman?
I think 9th.
I do too.
Yeah.
So this is either Burleson
Or Kisner.
Yeah.
Who's on the
Or-
bump for us?
Michaelis.
I think his daddy's in the game.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, he works really well with Michaelis. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Go for it. I like it. I'm with you.
I'm nervous, Anthony. This one makes me nervous.
Wait, hold on.
I know.
Contreras, so we're saying that Contreras after a day off is not the catcher.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
No, I don't either. Okay. All right.
Thanks. See, that's why we talked this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Burleson. He's been really good at the plate.
okay. And he's your DH.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Show us Alec Burleson.
What a shame.
I still don't think it's Kisner.
Oh, is it Dylan
So is this
Carlson?
Dylan Carlson and either Walker's the DH?
I think it's Dylan Carlson.
All right. Show us Dylan Carlson.
Carl
Nice. All right.
Carl Carlson.
We should have used the same strategy as we did with Contreras. A day off, you're not going to then bench Carlson again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Ollie's going to probably get him back in there, get
Yeah.
a chance to get things going. So I think this is Tommy Edman.
I do too. Go ahead.
Show us Tommy Edman.
Nice. All right. Not bad. So we missed one.
Yeah, we screwed up.
That's okay.
We had, the day off messed us up a little bit.
Yeah, messed us up real good.
All right, gentlemen.
Run it, Marshy.
Leading off, the DH, Lars Taylor Tatsui Nootbaar.
Take that.
Batting second, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Batting third, second baseman Nolan Norman Storman Gorman. The cleanup hitter, third baseman Nolan Arenado. Batting fifth, the catcher Wilson Contreras. Batting sixth in left field, Tyler O'Neill. Batting seventh in right field, Jordan Walker. Batting eighth, the center fielder Dylan Carlson. And batting ninth, the shortstop Tommy Edman.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
Did any of us pick Nolan? Because he homered first on Friday night. I don't think any of us did.
No.
Who did I have, though?
I don't know. Marsh, you keep.
Marcia,
right.
you keep
I
track.
kept track, yeah. However, it's in the office right
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right. I don't think anybody had
him.
Arenado.
I think Arenado?
Yeah, and Arenado.
Oh, I think
hit,
you meant Gorman. I think
Yeah.
I had Gorman on Friday.
I think he did.
Arenado hit the first home run,
Yeah. Okay.
and then Gorman hit two. So if
Yeah.
you had Gorman, that's
I had him. I think I had the double down on Gorman that day.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I would have got the hit,
Yeah,
but not.
not the ding dong. That's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough to get hit with no ding dong.
Yeah. Just doesn't feel right.
Go ahead, Jamie.
All right. I'm going back to the well here. Nolan Gorman. I mean, this guy, he seems to hit the ball a little bit from time to time.
I would say so. Marsh, who do you want?
I'm going to go with. Weirdly, I'm going to go with Dylan Carlson.
Okay.
He's batting .429 and 7 at-bats against him.
All right.
Against
Zach
Eflin.
Eflin. I'm going to go with Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill's on a bit of a run here. He's got 3 home runs in his last 5 games in his last 21 plate appearances. So I'm going to ride the hot hand. Go with Tyler O'Neill. That's your lineup game and your home run derby. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. A team that has actually been winning still proved yesterday that it has a losing mentality. That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards back in action tonight, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Miles Michaelis on the mound going up against Zach Eflin. 5:40 first pitch for the Cardinals and the Rays. The Cards are 11.5 games out of first in NL Central and 10 out of that final wild card spot in the National League. Once again, Cards and Rays, 5:40 first pitch. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
So we mentioned this in What's Trending yesterday, and now everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, we were trendsetters.
We certainly were. It also broke. It broke during our show, so slight advantage there, Jamie. No big deal.
Yeah, but we didn't have the audio back then.
We didn't. So let's listen to the horrific comments by Orioles broadcaster Kevin Brown the other day when the Orioles were playing the Rays. And actually, when I say the other day, it was July 23rd.
Yeah.
Listen to the despicable comments by Kevin Brown, Orioles broadcaster, on July 23rd.
The things he says about his own team.
Unbelievable. Listen.
Awful.
Tune in.
For the Orioles, Brandon Hyde has felt like this has been maybe the toughest ballpark to play in, but the Orioles have a chance to do something special today. They've already clinched at least a split in the series, winning 2 of the first 3, and they could pick up a series win behind Tyler Wells today. It's been a minute. The Orioles split a 2-gamer with the Rays in June. They had lost their last 15 series here at Tropicana Field. You have to go back to when our now colleague Brad Brock picked up the win in the series finale June 25th, 2017, the last time the Orioles won a series here at St. Pete. Already got 3-2 at the Trop this year after winning 3 of 18 the previous 3 years combined. It is a stark difference, Ben, and it is not a bad Rays team. It's not like all of a sudden the Rays became slouches in the American League East. They've led this division every day but now 2, and the Orioles once again are back alone in first place.
Yeah, so that was it. According to Awful Announcing and The Athletic, Brown was suspended because of those comments right there.
What's crazy is when I heard it for the very first time, he's pumping it up. He's complimenting the Orioles for what they've been able to do recently against this team. He's pumping up that it's a huge matchup.
Yeah.
He's given the history of why this is so big and why the change now that's good broadcasting. It's telling you the story. Like, that's the number one thing in broadcasting, what we have to do. Via radio, you better make sure you tell the story properly with lots of details because there is no visual.
Yeah.
We don't have a graphic or whatever to help us along or a video. It's fine. When you're doing TV like that, you've taken the time to build exactly what you're going to talk about. You're going to support it with a graphic, you're going to support it with numbers, maybe a little personal opinion, which he really doesn't have one.
No.
His only personal opinion is that this is a big game. Like, this is the gravity of this game or whatever. That was excellent. I'm in shock that this man is suspended right now.
Do you think there's something more going on here?
I don't know. Tim McKernan talked about that this morning. He's like, there has to be something more.
Because you can't you're not going to suspend somebody over that, right? Like, it can't be this much of a layup.
Maybe the ownership came to him and said, hey, we don't like you talking negative. Maybe he said blank you. I don't know.
I'm assuming there's something more here, but I also don't want to assume because that's almost painting Kevin Brown in a bad spot, like, oh, you must have done something else. But it just doesn't add up.
Here, right? Like, we don't want people to think, oh, he did something wrong.
It just doesn't add up at all.
Nobody's offering a comment on it. So Kevin Brown, obviously, he's not going to comment on it. He'd like to keep his job.
Yeah, he's 35 years old.
It's a good gig.
It's a great gig. It's one of 32 gigs 30 gigs in Major League Baseball. He wants to keep the job. He probably, feels the support that he's getting elsewhere, and he's going to keep his head down on this, and then eventually he's going to come back. It just doesn't make sense. And Jamie, it makes me wonder, the Orioles are having success right now. They have not had success in a long time. Can you be a winning team but still showcase losing culture?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's what we're seeing with the Orioles. It's almost like they don't know what to do, so they hear something like this. And let's just stay with this is why he was suspended. So they hear that, and they're so insecure that they react poorly despite having all this success. And it reminds me of human beings sometimes, like, you get a rush of success. Doesn't mean that you know how to handle yourself. And I think the Orioles are proving that right now. And I thought you brought up a good point to me in the office about ownership. And there's leadership, and leadership starts at the top. And you set the tone for your company, or you set the tone for your team. And I wonder, Jamie, if it started with leadership at the top and somebody didn't like it because they were talking too much good. Kevin Brown was saying too many good things about a division rival that they were going to step in. They're going to step in and put an end to this.
Yeah,
which is absurd.
Well, it's just ridiculous. And you talk about we have talked about culture and leadership at the top. Look at some of the franchises that always seem to be in turmoil, like Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Jerry Jones loves football. He loves the Dallas Cowboys. He cannot get out of his own way, whether it's something to do with the NFL or hiring the wrong head coaches or whatever it is. Jerry Jones hasn't been able to recently produce, that winning football culture that once was the Cowboys. That's an owner that, he's hands-on, but maybe too much so. You have James Dolan, New York Knicks, speaks for itself. Like, with the money that guy has and the resources, the Knicks should be a powerhouse every friggin' year. And we shouldn't be hearing about former players and Spike Lee being kicked out of MSG because of certain things. Like, are you bored? Like, what are we doing here?
You're just trying to kick up drama?
Whatever it is. There's a handful of owners that just can't get out of their own way. And what that does, it sets a precedent for how this team's going to be run.
Yeah.
Chaos is what it sets. So this in right now, they Barstool Sports reporting amongst other sources, lots of sources, but Barstool Sports in particular, they've got a little snark to them. Public shaming works. Wrongfully suspended play-by-play man Kevin Brown will return to the O's broadcast booth on Friday.
Nice.
So there must not be something else behind it. I mean, if there was, wouldn't the Orioles ownership...
You would dig your heels in.
You would send a serious message and be like, no, one, we're not commenting, but let's just say he won't be back soon.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, okay. No. So this is where we're at.
Well, good. The Orioles heard how stupid they look. And they brought, in the middle of a great season, they brought negative attention where no negative attention should have been brought.
No kidding. They're finally relevant.
Right.
Be relevant for the right reasons.
No kidding.
You've got a great team. You got a great young team. You've got some of the greatest prospects in baseball. You got Jackson Holliday, who's like number 1 or number 2 prospect in anywhere you look. And you're doing this. You're worried about a guy who's telling the story properly?
Yeah. That's stupid. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. That's good to hear, though. It's good to hear that on Friday he's going to come back. So Randy Carricker on our opening drive this morning, he threw out an interesting would you rather that we're going to dive into next on 101 ESPN.
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet is the best in the business regarding brand new vehicles or pre-owned vehicles. I can tell you what, they have tremendous inventory. Some of the best inventory around, and they've also got 2 locations. So no excuses anymore if you live out west and you're like, I can't get all the way to Florissant, Missouri, where the original Londoff is located. Don't worry about it. Head over to Londoff Autoplex out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. So now everybody can experience that great customer service from Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Let's not forget the Johnny Londoff guarantee, and that's where he guarantees top dollar for your vehicle, no questions asked. That's the Londoff guarantee. So you bring in your trade-in vehicle, you're worried about getting the right price for it. Londoff Chevrolet doesn't want you stressed out about that. They don't want you stressed out about anything. They want you to have the most amazing experience ever while you purchase your vehicle, and I guarantee you that you will. Londoff Chevrolet has been in the business for over 80 years, and they do great things in the community as well. So please stop by either location and tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. If you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Would you rather have your team load up with a massive payroll like the Mets did this year or the Padres have done this year? Or would you rather have a franchise like the Tampa Bay Rays, who went to the World Series 3 years ago and they've been in the playoffs in each of the last 4 years? I guess it comes down to, would you rather have your team win at a lower payroll or not win with a higher payroll?
I want my team to win. So I'll take that. I'll take that option, Jamie. I'll circle the team that wins. I'll circle that one. You?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't care how we do it.
Yeah. I think that's the main point, isn't it? Because we hear a lot of fans say, you got to be able to spend. DeWitt's got to spend. Mo's got to spend. Yeah, you got to spend wisely. You got to draft better. True. You have to draft wisely. You have to develop players. I mean, this is what teams that sustain winning over time do. Mm-hmm. It's not about spending. It's about spending on the right players. When it comes to the Cardinals, I have made the argument that they're so far in the middle of both approach that they wind up almost kind of serving both masters at the same time. Now, they've made the playoffs a lot, so there is something to be said for that. But when you know you can't spend and you're the Rays and you can only build a team in a specific way, I do think there's a benefit to that. Your foundation is set. It's hard to be searching for something when you have no starting point. So for the Rays, when they're searching for talent, they know that talent cannot come in free agency. It's either going to have to be in the trade market or it's going to have to be in the draft or international, market.
Yeah, but they're not dropping big money there.
Right. So they've got a starting point. When you're the Phillies and the Mets and the Yankees and the Rangers now, these teams are spending big. You have a starting point. We know we could throw a lot of money at the problem. You know who we are. The Cardinals have dipped into both. The Cardinals want to be a team that drafts and develops well, which is what I think they should do. But it's not like they're the Rays. It's not like they're the A's. They're 17th right now in payroll. It's going to have to go up because they need multiple starting pitchers, whether that's 2 or 3. We'll find out. But their payroll is going to have to go up because their young guys, 3 aren't going to be ready next year.
No, that's for sure.
So you're going to be right there again, 11th or so. Now, Marsh asked in the office today, he goes, well, where were the Cardinals payroll-wise in 11 through 14? And I looked it up. They're right around 9th to 13.
They've always hovered in and around the same
right
spot.
There, right.
I mean, even though they're, 17th now, I mean, they're still kind of hovering.
That's because they got caught with their pants down.
What?
Yeah.
When?
When free agency kicked off.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's true, too.
They didn't realize that all the money that was going to be spent in the offseason. So that's why they're 17th, as opposed to being right in that window, 9 to 13, average of about 11.
Well, that's assuming they would have spent that money, too.
Sure. But Jamie,
come on.
You're right. So the point is, so to that point, let me build off of it. You're about 11th consistently, on average, in payroll. Mm-hmm. That doesn't put you in the upper echelon of free agents. It also doesn't put you in the we're not going to spend anything. Got to put you right in the middle. Would you put you right in the middle for guys like Mike Leake, Dexter Fowler, Brett Cecil?
Yeah.
Guys like that.
So here's where I'll push back a little bit. Well, I shouldn't even push back. I don't know what the proper way to describe it is. You're right. In those players that you described, you're right. But they've also dropped some cash. They have, in a good way. Arenado and Goldschmidt. They've dropped some money at times. Now, they've gone via trade, so it's not like free agency where they competed for those guys.
Yeah.
But those guys did have one. Goldie did sign an extension. He could have went to free agency. Mm-hmm. He didn't, and you paid him. Nolan Arenado opted in when he could have opted out and didn't even want more pay because he could have opted out, renegotiated, and got more salary or higher number from the Cardinals. He didn't. So it's not like the Cardinals won't spend money. Mm-hmm. It's identifying when they need to spend money. I think that's the problem. Like this year, they thought to themselves, we got to go get a catcher. To your point earlier about Michael Gersh, we need a pitcher and a catcher. Well, we went to get Murphy, and we didn't want to give up the Newt. I'm just saying that because I think he was part of the deal.
Yeah.
So, well, we're going to go big. We're going to get Contreras. Open up the checkbook. Here we go. And they thought, we paid. We spent. We're going for it. Didn't work out. I mean, it didn't work. It has, but it hasn't worked out. Mm-hmm. So I look at the Cardinals from now on where they have to be like a boxer, okay? Is a good boxer establishes the jab. The jab is the setup for the right hand, the knockout punch. So the Cardinals, with the draft and their development and their young guys, that's the jab. They got to keep throwing the jab out there. We got established guys. Boom, 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 keeping everybody on their heels. And then when there's a free agent out there, wow, the knockout punch. Like they come in now and drop the hammer, the bag of cash. Poof. Aaron Nola, you're now a Cardinal. Blake Snell, poof, you're now a Cardinal. Mm-hmm. And then jab, 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 and wait for the next one that comes up, and then bam.
Yeah.
But they don't do the bam enough, or ever, for that matter, via free agency, because they acquired Arenado and Goldie, and I know I just went through my whole thing, but free agency, this is a year where they can do it. They have enough young talent. They have enough in the prospect pool to create that jab, keep their opponent on their heels, you know, and then boom, come with the big right hand, which is the big signing.
Yeah.
That's what I feel the Cardinals have to do, is a mix of the Tampa Bay Rays and the Padres. I don't mean just signing a whole bunch of people, but when you get a guy, you pay him. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
But aren't they already that?
No, I don't think they are.
But you just said they paid Arenado. You're right. They paid Goldschmidt. You're right.
Who are they paying in the pitching staff, though?
Waino.
You know, but
Michaelis.
Okay, Anthony. Who are they really paying?
That's my point, though.
That's my point. Is they haven't dropped the hammer. Like they should have a guy that's $25 million plus on that pitching staff. Mm-hmm. That way, you know, you're not guaranteed anything in life, but you know it's the number one or an ace caliber that we've got here.
Sure.
They don't. They don't. So they've never dropped the hammer as far as the pitching is concerned recently, in my opinion.
But when they do drop the hammer,
it's the wrong guy.
it has been it has typically been the wrong guy.
I know. I understand.
But maybe they get back to where? 11th in payroll?
Anthony, they're never going to be top 5.
Exactly. I think that's part of the problem. Not that they're not in the top, not that they won't spend in the top 5, but they're this mix. I think they are a mix of, let's try to be the Rays and the Mets. Let's go right in the middle there. Let's get a sweet spot. We're going to spend, but not spend a lot. We're going to draft and develop the rest, but we're really not going to develop the rest because we're going to spend a little bit, and then we're not going to observe some of these outfielders. The Rays would have never passed on Randy Arozarena. The Rays would have never passed on Adolis Garcia. Those guys would have gotten proper run. Dylan Carlson would have gotten a proper run. That's my point.
You're at where you're at right now.
And I think they're going to stay in that spot.
Well, they might stay in there, but they have to change their thought process. I honestly feel like this is the year where they circle a number of players, whether it's free agency and they come with the big money, or whether it's via trade to where they're willing to take on big money and part with prospects.
Right.
Somehow, some way, they have to get a big fish.
Yeah, that we can agree on. There's no doubt about it.
And if they're not willing to do that because the pockets are too tight, or they don't know their evaluation of their own people, or they're afraid to give up a player now because of past experiences, then that's on them.
It's hard to evaluate a player when you're paying Dexter Fowler what you're paying him.
He's not with the club anymore.
No, he was an angel.
He's an angel.
Is there a win-win trade out there for the Cardinals this offseason? We'll talk about that next on 101 ESPN. 303, your time check is brought to you by Collection Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. There's a win-win trade out there for the Cardinals this offseason, such as last year when the Marlins acquired Luis Ariz in exchange for Pablo Lopez. Lopez had an F4 of 3.3, Luis Ariz an F4 of 3.2. Would you consider this to be a win-win for both sides? Yeah, absolutely. Is there a win-win trade that is attainable for the Cardinals next offseason? You're going to have to find a dance partner. And here's the deal. When you look at Pablo Lopez, you say, the Cardinals should have traded for him. The Cardinals did not have a batting champ on their roster in Luis Ariz. Sorry. Would you be willing to give up Nolan Gorman? I don't know if they would be willing, if at the time, if the Marlins would have acquired Nolan Gorman for Pablo Lopez.
You would have made that deal.
At the time.
At the time.
You would have. Now you wouldn't.
No.
But when it comes to finding a pitcher, Jamie, I keep hearing over and over and over again, the Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners make a great trade partner for the Cardinals. They need hitting. We need pitching. Okay, great. The best commodity in all of baseball is starting pitching. I made this claim with the White Sox as I punch my microphone and it punches me back. The ultimate trade. See how it comes full circle, Jamie?
Yeah, well done.
I made this claim with the White Sox months ago. We should go get Dylan Cease. Why would the White Sox give up an ace?
Well, because people are sleeping in the bullpen.
Well, that's a whole other story. The culture thing, yes, the culture thing for the White Sox. They got some issues.
Yeah, but we got one guy who's got a sleep problem, so we let him sleep. Sorry. It was awesome when
they got issues beyond, what we're seeing on the field. But, Jamie, let's stop. Sometimes we get so caught up in what the Cardinals need that we don't think about the other side of it. The Chicago White Sox were never going to trade Dylan Cease. As soon as you trade an ace, what are you looking for?
Oh, they're looking to acquire an ace.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Trading Lucas Giolito on an expiring contract makes sense. Trading Lance Lynn makes sense. Trading Joe Kelly makes sense. But at some point, you have to look back and say, well, what are we building with? Well, we're going to build with Dylan Cease, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, and we'll go from there. That's what we're going to build with. The Seattle Mariners, as we circle back to them, are not going to just give you a pitcher, guys. They're not just going to say, here's Logan. Why would they trade Logan Gilbert? They're trying to win in the same division as the Houston Astros, the defending champs, and a Texas Rangers team that is all in now.
Are you talking about Seattle like at this year's deadline or in the offseason? I'm
talking about in the offseason. I keep hearing the Seattle Mariners as a perfect trade. Are you willing to give up Nolan Gorman? Because that's what it's going to take to get a young, cost-control pitcher. You think they're going to take Taylor Motter off your hands and give you Bryce Miller? They're not.
Why'd you go after him?
I don't know. I keep going after Motter. I apologize,
to
Motter.
Like, find somebody else.
He hurt you, and I have to hurt him now. It's just
hurt me. He actually hurt himself.
He really did.
He's a star he could be right now.
Yeah. They're not going to take your junk and give you a young cost-control pitcher. Not Taylor Motter in this case. Just metaphorical junk.
What's wrong with you, Anthony? Who hurt you?
Metaphorical junk, Jamie.
I don't care whose junk you're talking about. Either way, you're right. You're not going to go, well, okay, so hear me out. I just had a thought in my head.
All right.
So John Mozeliak is apprehensive to make that trade, that Randy Arozarena type mistake again, Arozarena.
Yeah.
He's afraid to make that type of mistake again. He's afraid to let Adolis Garcia go. He's afraid of all the things that happened before.
Yeah.
So if that's one of his crutches, is another one of his crutches, or the organization, it's more fair, it's not just Mo, is another one that they simply have to absolutely win the trade? Because of the Paul Goldschmidt trade, it just fell on their lap that they found a team that was willing to trade Paul Goldschmidt and take on not a whole lot. Carson Kelly, I think the biggest name that ended up being part of that package, like eventually. And then you take the Rockies, where Arenado wanted out so bad. Mozeliak swung in there, gave him not much except for an ace the other day, Austin Gomber. And managed to get, is Mo at the stage of his career where I'm not going to trade these young prospects. I'm just going to wait for somebody to give me their gold?
Yes.
Yeah, Anthony, that's not good. That ain't happening.
Look at this past trade deadline. Let's build off of what you just asked me. Let's look at this past trade deadline. Who did they trade, Jamie?
Well, expiring contracts.
The obvious choices.
Yeah.
The expiring contracts.
So nothing that could bite them.
Correct.
And they didn't, it wasn't like they attempted to get huge stars in return.
This is what I was talking about when I kept referencing, and I use this term because of the late, great Chris Duncan. Huevos Rancheros. It takes huevos rancheros to go into this deadline and say, you know what? I'm going to trade Goldie. I'm going to get ahead of this. If he falls, falls off a cliff next year in his final year, okay, I'm going to try to give him a chance to win a World Series championship this year, and I'm going to get a pitcher. I'm going to get a pitcher, right? It would have taken some huevos rancheros to trade somebody that already has at least a year of control, but he didn't because of what you just talked about. He wasn't going to take on a risk. I understand not taking on an unnecessary risk, but at some point you do have to roll the dice again. You do have to get back out there. Okay, the Rays picked your pocket for Randy Arozarena. All right, it happens.
Yeah.
But if you're waiting for every Arizona Diamondback and Colorado Rockies to, fall asleep and get hammered and forget where they are, and then trade you Goldie or Arenado when they're desperate for just getting something, you're going to be waiting a while. The other bad teams, because here's some of the good team, and we talked about this before too, Jamie. We talked about this at the deadline. What bad team right now has something you want? The Royals have nothing. The Oakland A's have nothing. The Nationals, do you want Lane Thomas back? You gave him up for nothing.
No, we don't need another outfielder, Anthony.
The Nationals got some young talent, but they're not going to give that up.
Pitching.
Yes, but I think they're going to build around it. Like, so Josiah Gray, Mackenzie Gore, those guys, they ain't going to give those guys up. The Rockies have nothing. I mean, this is kind of there's not another Arenado and Goldschmidt out there. You have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, looking at these teams, I just don't know. To your point, I just don't know. Like the Chicago White Sox, if we circle back to them, because the wheels are falling off there. I mean, with the stories coming out of the clubhouse, the lack of leadership, the lack of discipline, the whole thing, like they might just want to clean house after starting with the manager, starting with everything, and then start cleaning out like players.
They got a culture problem.
They do. And I think that although I know that Dylan Cease is kind of an unattainable player, they might liquidate everything almost to reboot the whole team. And in doing so, you might be able to swindle said player in a deal. I'm not saying it's possible, but I would call them. I would call them because they're trending in the wrong direction, like fast. And if I'm looking at their pitchers, who else on that list?
Nobody. Nobody. Touki Toussaint is he's 27 years. He's a reclamation project. He's pitching well right now, but he's a reclamation project. Nobody wanted him. They picked him up midseason. He's pitched fine. Everybody else, Mike Clevenger is 32 years old. He is what he is. Would he be a 5 for you? Yeah, but there's nobody else. Michael, you know what? Actually, Michael Kopech, who right now, he started off, he was struggling, and now he's starting to have a little bit of a bounce back. Michael Kopech might be one of those guys that you could circle. I even for a Kopech, I wonder what the White Sox would want.
I don't know. I'm trying to find a dance partner.
It's tough. That's our point. Because we started off saying, is there a win-win trade out there for the Cardinals?
So it's fine.
Jamie, I'm trying to partner up with you in this. This is a journey that you and I are both on.
I don't feel like that.
And I feel like a lot of people are like, hey, just make a trade. Okay, great. BK is willing to trade Dylan Carlson for Clark Schmidt. You on that bandwagon?
No, I'm not.
Young cost control outfielder for 27-year-old pitcher? who's okay?
No, I'm not on that, but I know what he's trying to do. But doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't make. What he's doing is irresponsible and reckless.
Quite honestly,
and
it's
he's a
disappointing.
father now.
He's a new father.
He's a new father.
You'd think that he would be a little more cautious.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
He's
really.
reckless. Okay, who has entered their crossroads seasons in the NFL? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. Six one hey got me pretty good, Jamie. We were just talking about what trades will not be available for the Cardinals this offseason. Go ahead, read what the 618 and his genius mind had to say.
He had you in the crosshairs here, Anthony.
Go for it.
You are right, Anthony. Why even try to make trades? Just settle into mediocrity.
Which, of course, is not what I said. That is a drumbeat that he's got in his head. That's his oxygen every single day. 618 wakes up every day and he's got that drum beat constantly. My team doesn't care about me. My team doesn't care about me. I don't know what your parents did to you, but they did an absolute number on you, my man. I don't know if you felt loved or whatever, but you can't view the Cardinals as like your source of love. It ain't going to work, man. I'm sorry. I didn't say stop trying. I said there's not a trade to be made. You never say anything, ever. You only say, oh, dude, stop trying. They don't care. I mean, what is your trade? You got to put yourself out there, dude.
Give us something.
Give us something.
Like drink.
It's like the Twitter tough guy here.
Oh, Twitter tough guy.
Or text line tough guy here. He's bitching about the topics we picked out today. He's got nothing else to say. My man, what topics we'll talk about anything, homeboy, like whatever you want to talk about. What do you want us to talk about? Your Cardinals suck. We'll talk about anything, dude. Please,
you're
talk
suspended.
To us.
Yeah, you're done. That's it, indefinitely.
Talk to us, dude. What do you want us to say? 618, my man. You never bring anything to the table, ever. You never bring anything to the table outside of, my Cardinals don't love me. They're not trying. What's your trade? Oh, you don't have one. That's right. You don't have a trade. You don't have a trade scenario that you're going to throw out. I realize I'm not smart. I realize I'm not a genius. I realize that a lot of my takes aren't that good. Sorry. But I've got an opinion that's specific, that's detailed. 618, that drum beat constantly.
It's the metronome. Is that what it's called? When it
Yes.
goes back and forth. Cards suck. Cards suck.
What's your trade? I would love to hear what your trade is that makes sense for the Cardinals, that is realistic.
He has an answer for you.
What do you got?
His trade.
Yeah.
He's an auto body technician. It's the trade.
That's pretty funny. I'll give him that. That's the funniest damn thing you've ever said. That's the most creative damn thing you've ever said. I will give you that. That's your trade. I think that's fantastic, dude. I'm going to do the slow clap thing. That's excellent. That was creative, man. That was funny. I love you, 618. I'm just going to say that. You know what the Phillies fans did to Trey Turner? I'm going to do that with the 618. I'm the only one that cares about you, 618. I'm the only one. Talk to me. I'm the only one that wants to be blunt with you. Everybody else wants to trade you for possums, not me.
Well, Anthony.
Was that me?
That was you.
That was me.
Yeah.
That's in the past, 618. I appreciate who you are as a human being. I think you are capable of more. Forget everybody else, 618. Just you and I talking real to real, okay? I love you, man. Let's bridge this gap. Let's get on the same page.
Mm-hmm. You two are at a crossroads in your relationship.
We're at a crossroads in our relationship, and there's a lot of NFL players that could be at the crossroads as well. Wow. Marsh, what do you got?
Which quarterback has entered his crossroads season? Of course, last year we had Daniel Jones, who's at a crossroad. In his career, he was either going to impress the new coaching staff or stink. Turns out he did pretty good and got a contract out of it. So when we look at some of these quarterbacks this upcoming year, which QB is entering his crossroads season?
Dak Prescott.
Is he at a crossroads?
I don't know. He hasn't won squat. I feel like, you know. What, you don't like my answer? Fine.
He beat Tom Brady last year.
Did he?
Yeah. In the playoffs.
All right.
No, he hasn't won much. You're right. I think Mac Jones is at a crossroads. Mac Jones last year, I get it. You're dealing with Joe Judge, and you're dealing with, a defensive coordinator, essentially, in Matt Patricia, as your OCs, as your play callers. They're designing your offense. That's tough. Bailey Zappi, who looks exactly like you and plays similar to you, had better performances than you a year ago. I think Mac Jones is at a crossroad. Now that he's got a real OC that's coming in, can he get back to not only what he was as a rookie, someone who could take care of the ball, but can you do more now? You're in your third year, different offenses, which is certainly, nothing that's going to benefit you in your career, but there's a lot of quarterbacks that deal with different offenses every single year. But Mac Jones is going to show something, I think. Even in a tough division, even in a tough conference, I think he's at a crossroads. Because at what point does Bill Belichick say, you know what, you ain't the guy?
We got a guy that looks just like you.
We got a guy that looks just like you. acts like you. Hell, I thought he was you. That's why I put him in the game a couple of times last year.
100%.
And I thought to myself, wow, that Mac Jones isn't. Oh, wait, no, it's Bailey Zappi.
Different guy.
Yeah.
Different guy.
So I'll choose Mac Jones in that.
Would Justin Fields fall into this? Because everybody's hyping him up.
I think he needs more development.
Huh?
I think he needs more development. I think we're setting him up for failure.
Okay, but
I hope.
How many years has he been in the league now?
This will be his third.
Okay, so why is he not at a crossroads then? And Mac Jones is.
Because Mac Jones, I don't know when I look at Mac Jones, I don't know what else what more he's capable of. So can you prove that? Like Justin Fields has not shown anything as a passer. So I have to imagine that there can be some development as a passer. I know that he's a dynamic running quarterback. I know people will highlight like some of his highlight passes throughout the course of the year and say, see, he can do it. But overall in a season, when you're trailing in a game, are they still calling runs? Because that's what they did last year. Or because you get a little bit better of an offensive line, a little bit more weapons, can you develop as a passer? Mac Jones, I don't know what else is left. I kind of think he entered the league what he is. So can he prove it? That's why I think it's a crossroads season for him.
Justin Fields.
Just my opinion.
No, that's fine.
He really hasn't had anything to work with. Whereas Mac Jones, he has Bill Belichick, who's one of the best coaches.
2 defensive coordinators as an offensive coordinator.
And he is the guy that took over for the greatest quarterback to ever walk this earth in Tom Brady.
Yeah. Listen,
there's a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah,
technically, it was Cam.
He hasn't
Cam
really
Newton.
been set up for first.
Oh, whatever.
He hasn't really been set up for success, though.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't.
Which player? Both?
No, Mac Jones.
Well, both.
Okay, both. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, yes, he has Bill Belichick. Full stop. That's it. Because he hasn't had a steady offensive coordinator. He's been learning on the fly. He has had very few to little weapons around him at all. Like, this is not the Patriots offense that they had in the early 2000s. And then since that point, this Patriots offense has gotten worse and worse and worse. The problem is that they were smoke and mirrored because they had Tom Brady that could make Danny Amendola a household name. You know, like no matter who you're, Wes Welker was all of a sudden all these guys that nobody ever heard of were like top receivers. Well, they weren't really. They had Tom Brady and they had good play calling.
Yeah.
So I think
they're perfect. They're perfect for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Danny Amendola.
And Mac Jones is not Tom Brady. I know that's not hard to believe. So
nobody is. Look at that guy.
I agree he's at some sort of a crossroads, but I'm willing to give him a little more grace time here because this will be the first year he has a real offensive coordinator. That's good.
Second.
No, but that's good. Well, he had what's his name? Yeah, Josh. It's right.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Last year was a disaster.
I chose Russell Wilson to basically resurrect his career. I think the first part of his career were good things. We talked good about Russell Wilson. I think last year, hearing a little bit more about him off the field, doing high knees and stuff on an airplane.
Crazy.
With Sean Payton coming in, I think this is the chance for Russell Wilson to basically win back the narrative for what his career is.
It's a good one.
He is my pick. I did have Mac Jones on there as well. Okay, we're running out of time, but which team is at a crossroads entering 2023?
I think it's the Buffalo Bills. I think that the hype has been real. They've been a very good team, but they haven't been able to do anything, really. I mean, they haven't been to a conference championship, have they?
No. Not like Josh Allen.
With this current.
Right. Yeah, no.
So for me, it's Buffalo Bills.
I think the Bills are the perfect one. You got to get to a conference championship at least if you're Josh Allen. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's a stacked conference. It's a really good division. You may not win the division this year, but you've got a good team around you. And at some point, the window starts to close again. For any team in any league, especially ones with the teams that got to deal with the cap. And you start paying a bunch of guys, start paying a quarterback, you're limited to what you can do with the roster. Your roster gets worse in some respects. So, for me, it's the Buffalo Bills as well. I think it's a major crossroads season for them.
I had two. I have, surprisingly, I have the Vikings on there. Kirk Cousins is a free agent this upcoming year, so I wonder which direction they're going to go in terms of the quarterback. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, he's going to be highly sought out wide receiver, is a UFA in 2025. How are you going to construct that if you're still having Kirk on your team? You want to give him money. So a little interesting thing there. And then from the Cowboys, I picked them as well. The coaching staff, what direction are they going to go in? They just obviously got a new offensive coordinator. Dak Prescott is still their quarterback. I don't think he's really that great. So we'll see what they do this upcoming year. And of course, Jerry Jones is their owner and seems to mess everything up. Going back to that Jerry Jones comment that you made in a previous segment, I wonder if it was Jerry Jones and his culture or if it was Jimmy Johnson's culture that ended up leaving.
Oh, it was Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson's culture is what the
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys was.
But the 90s were Jimmy Johnson.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, Barry Switzer did win one too, but
With Jimmy
Johnson's guys.
team.
Yeah, right. The Cowboys were, you're right. I mean,
So it's not Jerry Jones.
No, what I meant by Jerry Jones is he loves the Cowboys.
For sure.
When he was the owner, whether he did it or not, he still hired Jimmy Johnson.
For sure.
Right? So he's still directly but doesn't mean he made the decisions, but.
Yeah, Jerry Jones, and this is just a very simplistic way to look at it, but Jerry Jones eventually was jealous that Jimmy was getting all the praise.
Yeah.
It was his team. He was the owner, but it was Jimmy Johnson's construction, which is what it was. And I don't think Jerry Jones could deal with that. And now you see the current Cowboys for what they are. Jerry Jones is a great owner, but he needs that. Hey, it's your team. It's your construction. It's your, and he hasn't won since. Big problem. All right, Blues Cues are next. If you got a question, 314-399-9646 related to the Blues, send it in. However, Blues Cues next here on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan of Herculaneum, that's your spot, man. If you're looking for a new car, new truck, new van, new SUV, they've got them there. In fact, they have 700 vehicles, over 700 vehicles, in fact, on the lot, ready to go. One lot, too. It's out in Herculaneum, brand new spot. We're not talking about driving all around the greater St. Louis or Illinois area looking for your perfect vehicle because, one dealership actually has 9 locations. No, one spot out in Herculaneum is where you're going to find tons of new Nissans and certified pre-owned vehicles. They've got financing for you right there that they get it done and make sure that you're driving off the lot in a brand new Nissan and paying a payment that's much lower on a monthly basis than you thought was possible. So financing options, vehicles, great sales experience, and when it comes to that peace of mind, they give you a couple of things there when it comes to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. They give you the free nationwide lifetime warranty on new Nissans, which is a huge deal for every customer, right? You get that peace of mind when it comes to the servicing of the vehicle, but they also give you a 30-day return promise within 30 days. If you need to bring the vehicle back, no problem. They'll give you a refund, set you up with something else that you might be looking for. So, Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, that's your spot. Tell them Stalter sent you.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards taking on the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. Miles Michaelis on the mound going up against Zach Eflin. 5:40 first pitch. If you've missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find the full podcast there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our Blues Cues coming up next. If you have any questions about your St. Louis Blues heading into the 2023-2024 season, shoot them our way at the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Blues Cues are coming your way next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Not just at the top of their game. Now, it's time for the Fast Lane's Blues Cues.
All right, you heard the man. Time for the Blues Cues here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you got a Blues-related question, send it on in. What do you got, Marsh?
All right, from the 314, what are realistic expectations for the Blues this year? Is it the playoffs, a high draft pick, lower finish in the standings, but development from Jordan Kyrou / Robert Thomas?
Well, all of that. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think for the Blues this year, it's to make the playoffs. There's no reason why they shouldn't make the playoffs. The Central Division is not as strong as it once was. When you look at the Blackhawks and the Coyotes, they're both in full rebuild mode. The Predators are somewhat rebuild mode. Yeah. They got rid of a lot of high-priced guys. The Winnipeg Jets, what are they? They're kind of stuck in the middle as well. The Minnesota Wild are going to be a competitive team. Dallas Stars, the Avalanche, but there's no reason the Blues can't compete for a playoff spot. So for me, that's the main goal for the playoff series. One, develop your young guys, find out what exactly you have, and make the playoffs. There's no reason you can't make the playoffs.
Yeah, for me, if you stated either through words or actions that you're going to be doing a rebuild as opposed to a retool, then I don't think the playoffs are a reasonable expectation. But Doug Armstrong essentially said it, and he said it with his moves last year, that this is a retool. So you're not going to bring back certain guys because you can't because of the cap situation, but you are bringing in, and making moves that are adding to your roster so that you can rebound from a year ago when you didn't make the playoffs. So I think bare minimum expectations, make the playoffs. And then it's incumbent upon us to realize where they are in the conference and say, okay, they're behind this team, they're behind that team. Winning a playoff series might be difficult. Not saying that they shouldn't or they should settle for mediocrity, but they should, bottom line, make the postseason.
Yeah, and when I look at the moves Army made, one, he uses his draft picks, used them wisely, but he went and acquired NHL talent too. Reclamation projects in Verana and Kapanen, but nonetheless, they played well for this team down the stretch. I expect even bigger things from them next year, and Kevin Hayes. So you went and added 3 guys to your lineup to where you liquidated all those contracts that you weren't going to be able to keep those guys. Mm-hmm. You got something for them, and you also added NHL talent at the same time.
Yeah.
So this is a full retool, not rebuild. So, yes, playoffs are the expectation.
We get a question from Amazon Grant. Who is going to be the leading power play scorer for the Blues this upcoming season? That was a question that we tried to get to the bottom of last year when you were trying to basically fill that spot that David Perron had 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's got to be Robert Thomas. It has to be Robert Thomas because he's the guy that is going to be the quarterback per se. Yes, Torrey Krug's up there, but Robert Thomas is the guy. Kyrou, he's a finisher. He's a goal scorer. He creates offense. But overall, for this power play to be successful, Robert Thomas has to take it to another level. He's got to be the guy. He's a great playmaker. He's got very good goal-scoring ability. He's got great vision. So for me, that has to be Robert Thomas.
If there's a second choice, who is it?
Torrey Krug.
That's kind of where I was going. Torrey Krug, we know that Torrey Krug is not, by size, skill set, what Alex Pietrangelo was. And the fact that, Torrey Krug was kind of the pivot in some regards to losing Alex Pietrangelo, I think those two players are probably tied together too much. But when you think about Torrey Krug and just isolate him and keep him in a vacuum, one of his biggest attributes is his ability to quarterback the power play. So I think he's got to be the main cog there.
Yeah, and we look at the power play points from last year. Your top three guys are Kyrou at 23 points, Thomas at 22, and Pavel Buchnevich at 21. And then you look on the defensive side of things, it's Torrey Krug at 14, Justin Falk at 10. Torrey Krug has to have more points than 14 on the power play. He's got to be getting up into the 20, 25 points on the power play. Yeah. And the other guy's got to be around 30.
Question from the 636. Who is the next Ivan Barbashev on this team?
Wow. Is that Sammy Blais?
I was about to say, what about Sammy Blais?
Yeah.
I was thinking Sammy Blais right off the bat there. So.
Yeah. Sammy Blais, for me, is that guy. Now, his game... His all-around game is not that of an Ivan Barbashev because, you're not going to see Sammy Blais killing too many penalties out there. An outside candidate for this one could be Jake Neighbors. You look at Jake Neighbors, his skill set's very similar to Ivan Barbashev. He's got the capabilities of scoring 15 to 20 goals. He has the capabilities of getting on the forecheck. He can hit guys. Yeah. He can throw down if he has to. And he can also play a penalty kill. He's played on the penalty kill a little bit already. Craig Berube's kind of experimented with that. So maybe Jake Neighbors is also an Ivan Barbashev in the making.
Last question here, very important question from the 636. What has to happen for the Blues to bring back the 5 goals for 25-cent taco promotion? It's the only thing holding this team back. Hashtag we want tacos.
Not a bad thought.
Yeah, I mean...
that's great.
Yeah, they'll need more offense overall. More of a consistent goal scoring from...
You want more tacos. You need more scoring.
Yeah.
I mean, this team can score.
Yeah, they can.
They can score in bunches. Mm-hmm. They also can give up a lot of goals in bunches, so maybe we'll be seeing high-scoring games this upcoming
So is it 5? It's the Blues scoring 5 goals,
yes,
right?
When the Blues scored 5 back in the day, you get I think it was 35-cent tacos, actually, not 25-cent tacos.
So it's a great deal.
If we look at it here, let's just see, just for fun, because we're playing this game, we might as well have some fun with it. So goals for last year. Where do you think the Blues ranked in goals for? So goals scored in the entire NHL.
12. Ooh, I was going to say something similar around that. I'm going to go, I think that's the highest that they could be, but I'll say the lowest that maybe they could be is 17th.
We got a winner. 17th.
Oh, Marshy.
Yeah, 263
nice job,
goals scored last year. They gave up 301. Not great. Minus 38 to goal differential. But if we want tacos, this team can take us to the promised land.
Nice. That's a good call.
Taco Tuesday.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, and we have your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Budweiser Bash for Cardinals versus A's. Next week's Bud Bash game features a limited edition Gary Gaetti bobblehead. Text in now at 314-399-9646 to win Budweiser Bash tickets for Cardinals versus A's, but you also have to have the correct answer and be the 101st texter to do so in order to get the Bud Bash tickets. Here's your question. With it being a Gary Gaetti bobblehead night, Gary Gaetti won World Series. What year did he win a World Series? If you have that answer, again, text in 314-399-9646. And if you're the 101st texter with the correct answer, you're going to win Cardinals and A's Bud Bash tickets. Maybe that's when we get our possum, by the way, when the A's come to town. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope they've been feeding it.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of scraps around.
I'm sure, too.
Yeah.
It is Oakland, you know. It is the Oakland Coliseum.
I meant it was like a sports venue. There's lots of food. I didn't mean Oakland. What's your problem with Oakland?
I said Oakland Coliseum.
You're supposed to be a Bay Area guy, too.
Oh, I guess I'm not then, huh?
I don't sound like it.
Well, there you go. Remember this, folks. When Jamie's spewing this crap about me being a Bay Area guy.
Spewing crap.
What is the state of college football? A lot of just dark cloud. This is ruining everything. Conference realignment is ruining everything. Is it? That's next on 101 ESPN. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. College football, there's been a lot of kind of like some dark clouds over college football. Conference realignment has ruined things. Eli Drinkwitz with some very profound comments yesterday about how, hey, did we think about the student athletes when we were talking about conference realignments and how much they're going to have to travel and this and that. Great stuff from Eli Drinkwitz. I think it's very heartfelt and some really good points there. I don't know what the solution is, and I don't think he was necessarily going to talk about any sort of solution, but nonetheless, there's some really good points made there. I'm hearing a lot from college football fans. This is ruining college football. Tradition is being ruined. Jamie, if I may, and maybe I'm wrong on this. Probably, yeah. I'm willing to admit it, Jamie. I'm wrong about it.
No, it's fine. Let's hear it.
Everything.
What do you got for us?
As long as they expand the playoffs, I don't think they're going to ruin anything.
I'm going to further this conversation. I know you're going to find this hard to believe.
Yeah.
I don't think they care.
No.
I don't think they care at all about your conferences.
No.
I don't think they care one bleeping minute.
Do you care?
About your realigning.
Yeah.
No, I don't care at all.
Okay, good. So I'm not alone on the island.
I wasn't married to the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 or the Big Ten.
Right.
Yeah. Either way, I think that the college playoffs being expanded is the answer. I got you.
Dude, I need to laugh. Man, you delivered that.
Sure did.
Wow.
Yeah, so back to your point. Expand the playoffs.
I'm trying not to think of what you said just so I could stop.
Just talking about the conferences.
Yeah, the conferences, yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't...
No, it's conferences.
Yeah, you didn't care.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Care about the teams.
Of course.
Yeah, you care about the top teams playing each other for a chance for a title, right?
I don't care about who plays in what conference.
Right.
Did your team make the playoffs? I'll be watching them then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be watching for the big games.
And I'll be watching all October and November, especially November, when these games really matter. Really matter. You can't talk to me about tradition and we're ruining this and that and this and that and the conference around when you are scheduling some of the teams that you're scheduling either at the start of the year or the beginning of the year. I made this point the other day. If you look through college, and I'm talking about the last couple of years in college football, you could look on a college football Saturday and really pick out about 2 games that were really intriguing. That's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not healthy for your sport. You know what's killing college football? Not enough intrigue. It's not conference realignment. It's you scheduling games that don't matter for half your schedule. That's what matters. I don't care about a conference matchup against a dog bleep team. And too many of those games were winding up on the big boy schedule. Georgia, half their schedule, even in the SEC, you could throw out because you know it's going to be 55-3 by the second quarter. Mm-hmm. You don't have to watch. What's the intrigue? If you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, that's fantastic. You're out there, you're in between the hedges, you're wearing, you're dressed up, you got your collared shirt on, the girls are in the sundresses and all that. I've done the Georgia Athens game. It's awesome. It's a great experience. I saw Georgia win that day 72-3 over Vanderbilt. You need more intrigue. And if conferences have to realign so that you get more intrigue, hey, guess what? I'm all in. Now, I realize it's not going to solve all of the issues in college football. I realize that Georgia's still going to have some bad opponents on it, and Alabama's still going to have some bad opponents on their schedule. But at least we're drawing a little bit closer to what the sport should be. I mean, come on. Some Saturdays last year, one game, you kind of got to squint. Like, I'm kind of somewhat halfway into that. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Everything else is just It's not good.
I'm with you. I've said that forever.
And expand the damn playoffs, Jamie.
Being a casual college football fan, very casual, I don't even turn the TV on when I see games that are just lopsided. It's pointless. I don't find anything of value at all in watching it.
Right.
What would you say about the teams that are not going to, let's say, the Big Ten? And I'm not saying these teams are good right now, but they could potentially end up having a good program later down the road. However, they're not playing the big teams because they're not in the same conference, and then they sort of get overlooked in a sense when it comes to the college football playoff. I know it is expanding, but what would you say about those teams now that they don't have the right opponents to play to make themselves, to essentially prove to the rest of the country that they are a good football team?
I would ask you, Marsh, I think it's a great point. But
because when they do scheduling years in advance.
Right. It's an excellent question. I would ask you this, though. How much then do things actually change? Because that has been the issue for UCF. That has been the issue up until 2 years ago with Cincinnati. And boy, you had your shot, didn't you?
Yeah.
You got run through the table.
Yeah, their quarterback is actually quarterbacking your favorite NFL team.
The quarterback in that game, Desmond Ridder, did all he could.
I don't remember
for Cincinnati. I
don't think so.
Did all he could.
Maybe.
Kid took guts to even step on the field that day.
Wasn't good enough. Yeah.
But it not so that part is a problem. But I don't think when you're looking at where we're at now in college football, that much has changed in that regard.
So you think that problem that I just brought up, essentially what we talked about yesterday, it's on a laundry list of problems?
Yes.
It's literally at the bottom. Because the NCAA doesn't care about that team.
Correct.
They care about all these other teams, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Georgias. They want to make sure that these conferences are the powerhouses.
It's entertainment at the end of the day.
Which I can get behind because I've been, like Jamie, a casual college football fan over the past few years. I think when I was younger in high school, I cared a lot more than I do now. Just because,
and why is that?
I have no idea. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I had other interests in things. I couldn't tell you why, but maybe that's part of the reason. I think the first full game that I watched last year was the Tennessee-Alabama game. I actually sat down and watched that game. Maybe it's because the guy with the Alabama pants came up to us on our live show and told us to watch the game, so then I did.
Oh, that's right, he did, didn't he? Yeah, we're out in Belleville?
I forget.
I think so.
Boy, he was passionate that day. He was like, you guys got to talk more Alabama football. And then...
We're at Max, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
I think.
In Alton. No.
No. Belleville.
I'm sorry, Belleville. Yeah.
We're at Copperfire.
Yes,
Copperfire.
we're at Copperfire.
That's yeah, Alabama pants. Boy, he was nice, but he was very determined to get us to talk more Bama football. Yeah. And then his Bama team lost to Tennessee that day.
But that was a great game.
Day after.
That was a great game. That is what made me be like, okay, I need to lock in now for the rest of this year.
Can you remember 5 great games last year, non-playoffs?
5 great game non-playoffs. Okay, we'll use that one. I think the Mizzou-Georgia game was great. It was good. Unfortunately, Mizzou did not win that game. TCU at the end of the year when they hit a field goal, I think they defeated, was it Oklahoma State?
It was either, I think it was Baylor.
It was Baylor, that's right. I thought that was a good ending.
It's tough.
It's tough to go back and really think about it.
I know,
I'm sure
but
there definitely were more than 5.
If I asked you for some NFL great games, I think you can rattle those off a little quicker.
Vikings,
I think
Bills, Vikings, Colts.
Okay,
oh my goodness! Of course.
Anyways, I think that as long as college football expands the playoffs and brings more intrigue each and every Saturday, I don't think the conferences matter as much. That might just be me. All right, Gauntlet time here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
fellas, listen up. As you get older and as life goes on sometimes, things change. They do. And maybe you start to feel like, man, you just don't have the energy that you once had. Maybe that you're more anxiety, maybe some depression going on because you're not in the same physical condition that you once were. All of these things can be signs of low testosterone, which is quite normal in men of all ages. But go get it checked out. Head over to Mentality. They're going to run a full blood panel for you. Going to talk to you, sit you down, and they're going to turn your life around. I feel 20 years younger than I did 6 months ago. And Anthony,
you look it too, Jamie.
Thanks, Anthony.
You do.
You're being so kind.
No, look, Jamie.
You look great as well.
Well, thanks, Jamie.
Your energy's through the roof.
Well, well, that's what it happened. That's what happens, right? Jamie, in all seriousness, you were talking about the experience that you had, right? And you were talking about being frustrated and being down, being overwhelmed, being stressed, like all this stuff, right? And I think the biggest thing you were talking about too is that, hey, why? Why do I feel this way? I just got to get over it. No, how about you get some help? That's what you did. And you brought me into Mentality, and we sat down and said, okay, here's all the things that you might be experiencing too. We weren't alone there. There's a lot of people that we meet each and every week that you talk to and you say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I feel the same way. Go get yourself checked out. Just like you would, you got a broken arm, you go to the doctor, right? Well, if you're feeling low and some of the things that we were just talking about, depressed and overwhelmed and stressed and all that, then why don't you do that for yourself as well? 2 locations, South County and West County, makes it easy as well. I'm open Monday through Friday.
Yeah, all you got to do is go in and say that Anthony and Jamie sent you in, or you can check them out online at lowtusa.com. Again, that's Mentality at lowtusa.com.
Warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marsh, who do we have today in the Gauntlet?
Have Nick. Nick is our newest Gauntlet contestant.
What's up, Nick?
How's it going, guys?
We're doing great. First time in the Gauntlet?
First time on the Gauntlet, yeah.
All right, well, hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. Congratulations on getting in. Would you like to take on Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, or the Anthony Stalter?
Let's go with Jamie.
Jamie Rivers it is. Okay.
All right, Nick. Well, good luck, my man.
Good luck to you too, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, you chose who you wanted to fight against. The wheel will choose your destiny. Tell Marsh to spin that wheel, please.
Spin that wheel.
All right, Nick. What do you not want to see?
Random.
What do you want to see?
Baseball or football or hockey, one of the three. Maybe not hockey with James, probably baseball.
Wow. Marsh, Marsh, you literally just went, wow.
Oh, man. I mean, like a millimeter?
Yeah.
Maybe?
It was all random. All random.
Okay.
At the very last second, it hit baseball. So
did it really?
Yes,
Wow.
your category is baseball today. So I'll give Marsh the launch codes here. 4 questions to you today, Nick. 4 questions. Same 4 questions to Jamie. Each question is worth 2 points. Unless you need the options, those questions are worth 1 point. Sound good?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, 4 baseball questions. Here we go. Nick, question 1. The Cardinals retired number 14 for which player? The Cardinals retired number 14 for which player?
What are the options?
Ted Simmons, Dizzy Dean, Ken Boyer.
Ken Boyer.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 2, according to Baseball Reference, who currently leads the Cards with a 2.8 WAR this season?
WAR this season. Oh, man, let's... what are the options?
Is it Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Arenado, or Nolan Gorman?
So Nolan Gorman, final answer.
Question 3, Nick. Who on the Cardinals roster leads the team in games played this season? Who on the Cardinals roster leads the team in games played this season?
Let me think. No. Let's go with Goldschmidt. Final answer.
Question number 4. Which Cardinals pitcher is the only player on the Cardinals' current 40-man roster born in Mexico?
40-man roster, born in Mexico. Give me the options.
Options are Guillermo Zuniga, Giovanni Gallegos, or Jojo Romero.
Giovanni Gallegos. Final answer.
Okay. You're bringing in Jamie. Nick, how you feeling?
Not great, but maybe Jamie won't feel as good either.
Okay, yeah, we'll see here. So Jamie's going to make his way back in from the cone of silence right now. He's on the hop here. Jamie?
Yeah.
How was the cone of silence?
It was great. Mike Ryder's been on vacation for, about a week now?
It's good to see that kid.
It's nice to have him back and talking and just, breaking things down. How'd my guy Nick do?
Well, you better pack a bleeping lunch.
All right. Let's party.
Jamie.
Anthony.
Your category today is baseball.
I love baseball.
Question 1.
Yeah.
The Cardinals retired number 14 for which player? The Cardinals retired number 14 for which player?
Okay. Options, please.
Ted Simmons, Dizzy Dean, Ken Boyer.
Ted Simmons. Final answer.
Question number 2, according to Baseball Reference, who currently leads the Cards with a 2.8 WAR this season?
2.8 WAR. The options.
Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Arenado, or Nolan Gorman?
Nolan Gorman. Final answer.
Question number 3, Jamie.
These are things I have no idea about.
Who on the Cardinals roster leads the team in games played this season? Who on the Cardinals roster leads the team in games played this season?
Boy, if he'd been here all year, it'd have been Taylor Motter. But
damn right.
Who leads the team in games played? That's a really tough question. You go to the outfield, and they've all been injured at some point. Tommy Edman's been injured. Brendan Donovan injured. Nolan Arenado Goldie. I think it's Arenado or Goldie. Which one's been off his feet more, though, Anthony? I'll go with Nolan Arenado. Final answer.
Question number 4. Which Cardinals pitcher is the only player on the Cardinals' current 40-man roster born in Mexico?
Oh, my. Pitcher? Like from the whole staff? Or starting rotation? What was the question?
Which Cardinals pitcher is the only player on the Cardinals' current 40-man roster born in Mexico?
Like he got Gio Gallegos. I don't know where he's from. I can't remember. Jojo Romero. I feel like that guy could be the guy. I feel like I got to shoot my shot here. I'll go with Jojo Romero. Final answer. I don't feel good at all, guys. I'm not going to lie. I don't feel good at all.
You never know.
I've got that feeling in my stomach like you sucked really bad today.
I got a feeling.
Yep, tonight's going to be a bad
Tonight I'm going to need to drink. Let's see. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Question number 1.
That's every night.
Nick versus
every day that ends in Y.
Jamie. The Cardinals retired number 14 for which player? Jamie, you took the options. You went Ted Simmons. Nick, you took the options. You went Ken Boyer. Correct answer is
Ken Boyer.
Nick up 1-0.
I disagree.
According to Baseball Reference, who currently leads the Cardinals with a 2.8 WAR this season? Nick, with the options, you said Nolan Gorman. Jamie, with the options, you said Nolan Gorman. Correct answer is
Lars Nootbaar.
Lars Taylor, Tetsuya Nootbaar, the grinder himself.
Of course. Willie Mays himself.
Absolutely.
I was on Twitter yesterday, and I went on the search bar.
What?
And on that search bar, right here on this computer, it said Lars Nootbaar, Barry Bonds, all within the same.
Yeah.
First 3 years of playing.
Yeah. Who the hell was looking that up?
There's a Nootbaar Willie Mays.
I saw the Willie Mays one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Same player.
Okay.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Might run like.
But you hit like. All right, 1-0 Nick. Who on the Cardinals roster leads the team in games played this season? We'll tell you after this question. Which Cardinals pitcher is the only player on the Cardinals' current 40-man roster born in Mexico? Jamie, you went with Jojo Romero. Nick, you went with Giovanni Gallegos. Correct answer is
it's old Gio himself, Giovanni Gallegos.
I overthought that because my gut feeling was Gio. Then I was like, it's too obvious.
Nick's up 2-0 because he did need the options on that. It comes down to this, gentlemen.
I'm screwed.
Who on the Cardinals roster leads the team in games played this season? Neither of you needed the options on this one. Both of you. Actually, both of you did not need the options. You had different answers, though. So this is how it's going to work out. If it's Paul Goldschmidt, who was Nick's answer, Nick is going to win in an absolute blowout today. He's going to pitch a shutout.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony.
If it's Nolan Arenado, though, Jamie would have tied Nick on the only question he got right in the Gauntlet. And we are going to head to a walk-off. Nick.
You have chosen wisely.
It was Paul Goldschmidt. Arenado is second. Nolan Gorman is third. Nick is up 1-0 in the Gauntlet after winning 4-0 today over Jamie.
I'll take that any day.
Nick, you wanted baseball. You got baseball, and you absolutely hammered it. You got 3 out of the 4 questions correct. Nice job, man.
I appreciate that.
Hey, it was a lot closer than it looked, okay, Anthony?
Jamie, it wasn't.
Nick, good job, buddy.
Bye.
All right, Nick, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Sound good? You'll play either Marsh or myself.
All right, guys, looking forward to it. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks.
Here, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
I just got absolutely fist pumped.
You know.
Yeah. No.
I felt.
No, not a good one, Marcy.
No.
I felt like almost from the start you were just. It's almost like you didn't feel it today or something.
He was distracted. Mike Ryder had him distracted.
Yeah.
That's true.
A little bit. No, to be honest, 2 of those questions are way out of my wheelhouse. When it comes to retired numbers and then war and things like that, I'm like, I mean, I look at that stuff, but I don't study it daily. We talk about the Cardinals, but I don't talk about WAR daily. So I was like, this is not a good start.
You're fine.
No, it is what
You'll
it
bounce
is.
back.
I thought Arenado had more games than Goldie. Yeah, I knew they were right there.
Yeah.
What's the difference between them? Do we know?
We don't know.
Way to go, guys. Thanks.
We don't.
You know, now I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
I'm sorry.
I think you will.
No, I don't feel that way. It's a fact, okay?
I'm just saying sorry. Why does every time? Why do I have to be sorry that you feel that way? Why can't I just say sorry?
You just stop right where you're at. Just stop.
I did. I didn't say the rest of the part.
You too.
Do you want to land the plane, Marsh, or?
I mean, I told him I wouldn't.
Okay. What is the risk reward when looking at the open market for the Cardinals? That's next on 101 ESPN.
That you feel that way.
It is.
If you are looking to sell your home right now, or maybe the for sale sign's been in the yard just too long, look, the market's nuts. It is. It's all over the place. I went from a seller's market to a buyer's market, and it gets stressful. Don't trust that with anybody. Trust the sale of your home with the best in the business, and that's Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And here's a couple reasons why. Because Gloria already has the buyers. That's right. She got a database, an exclusive database, with thousands of ready buyers that are there to create more traffic for your listing, create a higher demand, hopefully multiple offers on your home, and get you sold, get you paid. Gloria has that, as well as guaranteed sales. And what that means is that Gloria will sit down with you and agree upon a sales price. Then she'll sell your home for that exact price, or she buys it herself, and she guarantees all of that in handwriting. So please don't wait another minute if you're in the market to sell your home, or if you're currently trying to and haven't sold it yet. Call Gloria Liu. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you, and call her at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
because there's like seemingly like 13 different guys that are all like roughly comparable starting pitchers, you can also just sort of sit back and be like, the 13, we think these 3 or 4 fit the best, and then all of a sudden one of them gets, crazy overheated bidding and they go for twice what you think they're worth. You can also just kind of sit back and wait for them, because like the last guy in this group is like Sonny Gray, Marcus Stroman, Flaherty, and Lorenzen, and the top guys are like Snell, Yamamoto, and Nola in my mind. And like, I don't feel like expectations for those guys year to year are like wildly different.
So it's Kylie McDaniel on the risk reward when it comes to looking at the market. He was on with BK and Ferrario. It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. So the Cardinals, they've got a bit of a rough track record when it comes to signing free agents in the offseason. We know this. We've detailed this. However, this year they seemingly have no choice. They're going to have to go to the market. They're going to have to risk signing somebody. Now, we can all agree that they need to look at the top guys and Aaron Nola and Blake Snell. It'd be nice if they at least entertain the idea of, hey, Shohei Ohtani, do you want to live in the Midwest, play for the old Birds on the Bat? At least
you heard Matt Holliday. Call him. At least
make the phone call, right? So do we believe that Mo and company will get the right guy?
Well, here's where my question marks pop up. Is once the obvious choices are gone, what's their pivot?
Right.
And I think that's where, if nothing else, I think that's where there was a miss last offseason. So if the Cardinals, who are rumored to have been in on Carlos Rodon, if Carlos Rodon isn't there again this year, not him, the player, but that type of player, does it end up the same way again?
Right.
Because last year the pivot was what? What was the pivot from Carlos Rodon?
You didn't have one.
You didn't have one.
The pivot was we'll just go with what we have.
Yeah, we got six guys for the 5-man rotation. No, you didn't. You had 2, maybe 3, but that's it. So, I think that's the biggest question for me is once the big names or the ones that we're talking about, the for sure's are gone. What's the pivot? Mm-hmm. And can they pivot, or do they just go, we didn't expect that? You can't do that 2 years in a row.
No, you can't. I think there's actually a pretty big pool that they can swim in this year. The problem is they're not going to get an ace unless it's Aaron Nola, Blake Snell, or Shohei Ohtani. But I have detailed this when it comes to the MLB free agents, Jamie. I think that there's a handful of guys that make a lot of sense for the Cardinals. Sonny Gray. I've talked about him. He just shoved against you recently. I talked about him beforehand. Kenta Maeda is having himself a really good year. Somebody that's not going to break the bank, but is going to be definitely better than what you had this year. And somebody that can, pitch in the middle of your rotation and pitch very well. Lucas Giolito has not pitched well for the Angels in 2 starts, but he's somebody with plenty of upside. I don't think you're going to get Julio Urias coming off a down year. The Dodgers probably, will do their best to lock him up, but Julio Urias would make a lot of sense. If Marcus Stroman opts out of his player option, Marcus Stroman would be somebody that I think the Cardinals should be interested in. There's more starters this year that I think are intriguing than were on the free agent market last year, Jamie. Those are a couple of names. Some other ones that would at least be interesting. Eduardo Rodriguez, he's got an opt-out for $18 million. If he hits the open market, he has pitched well this season. There are guys that are, that could be viewed as reclamation projects that have pitched well in the past that are having terrible seasons. Carlos Carrasco would fit into this category. Luis Severino was going to be an ace for the Yankees. Injuries wrecked him. He is having a dreadful season. If the Cardinals were to sign him, the text line, I'm sure, would fill up with, this guy's got a 6-something ERA. Yes, he does. But he's also somebody that has pitched at the top of a rotation at one point. Can the Cardinals bring him in, iron out some of the issues, and he could have a bounce back year next year on a 1-year deal, mind you, which I don't think the Cardinals should be above. I don't think you need to sign guys for 4 or 5 years. You can look at it and say, if that 1 year doesn't work out, see ya. If that 1 year does work out, you know who you got, Jamie? Cody Bellinger, which is what the Cubs did this past year. I don't think they should be afraid of 1-year deals. James Paxton is another guy that could be good for 2 years for you. You need an ace. Aces are tough to come by.
Yeah.
You may have to develop that ace. In the meantime, you shouldn't, even if you don't get an ace this offseason, Jamie, it doesn't give you the excuse to do what you've done the last 2 years, which is mail it in with your starting rotation and not be active in free agency. There's plenty of guys that are going to be on the open market that make a lot of sense, in my opinion.
I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I'm steadfast on the belief that the Cardinals have to be in on the discussions for Nola or Snell. Ohtani would be great, but let's just be serious for a second.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. They've got to get one of those two guys.
Yeah.
Now, that depends on the players, too. But that's where we're starting for me.
Sign me in. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to do biggest threats in the NFL. So, for example, the biggest threat to the Chiefs defending their title, the biggest threat to the Eagles to defending their NFC crown, the biggest threat to the Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Marshy's Minnesota Vikings when it comes to the division. We're going to do biggest threats next on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, our guy. Stewie is back on the line right now, and we wanted to call Stewie for a very specific question today. Stewie, I know there's some people, and I get this question too, like, hey, ask your guy, Stewie, how long I have to wait to refi after I've done so already. A lot of times, Stewie, you don't have to wait very long, right?
Anthony, there's a misconception out there that you have to wait many months before you refinance a loan. If you got a loan over the last couple of months, you're in the high sevens, or you have an FHA loan, you can refinance that loan the next day. There is no waiting period. We just refinanced a loan by a customer who got a loan based on where the builder told them to go. It was an FHA loan. They should have never gotten the FHA loan. We flipped it conventional in 2 weeks. They haven't even made their first payment. When we refinanced them to conventional loan, saving $200 a month on the payment. So no waiting period. If you have an FHA or conventional, call to see. If your rate is too high, we can turn around and tell you right away. If we can refinance it for free, we will.
Yeah, just call. I think that's the number one thing here is call Stewie and ask him the questions. He's going to have the answers, or he's going to figure them out for you. And even if you've talked to somebody else, call Stewie. Get a second opinion because he's there to help you. He's our guy. He needs to be your guy. Call him at 314-324-4440.
Again, that number is 314-324-4440.
And if you can't remember that, Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the bag alone. Thanks, Stewie. Keep up the great work.
NMLS number 226715.
Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards back in action tonight, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Miles Michaelis on the mound going up against Zach Eflin. 5:40 first pitch. The Cards are 11.5 games out of first place in the NL Central and 10 out of that final wild card spot. We'll see if they can get back to their winning ways tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find the full show there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We're going to dive into the NFL coming up next, the biggest threats. It's coming your way right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
If you have a question for the Sports Six Pack, you can always send it in right now. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, 314-399-9646. You can also reach us on our YouTube channel, which is at 101 ESPN STL. There's a comment section there. You can participate that way if you want to leave us a question for the Sports Six Pack, which is coming up in about 10 minutes. Right now, though, we have got biggest threats when it comes to the NFL. So, for example, guys, the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs defending their Super Bowl championship title. Who do you think that is? Or is it just an injury to Patrick Mahomes? Do you think?
In the AFC?
All of the NFL.
Oh, the NFL. Well, Anthony, that's a lot of teams.
Yeah.
It's a lot of teams.
Who's number one? Who's the number one biggest threat? I think if Joe Burrow is healthy for the Bengals, I think it's still the Bengals. The Bengals have had... I'm not going to say they've had the Chiefs' number, but they have been very competitive with Kansas City. They have not been fearful to go into Arrowhead. They beat them the 1 year at Arrowhead in the conference championship game. Nearly beat them a year ago in the title game. They play Kansas City extremely well. And they've got great coaching. And, of course, when Joe Burrow is healthy, the weapons that they have offensively, I think it's still the Cincinnati Bengals and not necessarily the Eagles, who had Kansas City on the ropes there for a while in the Super Bowl. So, Bengals for me.
Yeah, I don't see another team. I just don't. I mean, Bills Mafia might disagree with me, but they're still in prove-it mode for me. I would agree with you. I think it's the Cincinnati Bengals.
I can't pick anybody else until that team decides to take down the Bengals. The Bengals are that second team. And until they get overthrown, none of those other teams that can overthrow the Chiefs, it has to be the Bengals. Even though Joe Burrow is dealing with an injury right now.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Who's the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC? Biggest threat to the Eagles' crown in the NFC?
The 49ers. For me, and of course that lies solely on the arm of Brock Purdy, and Trey Lance, to see what's his development like. So the quarterback position is the turning point for that team because they have everything else. Mm-hmm. They have the coaching, they have the offense, they get the defense. So for me, it's a no-brainer. 49ers.
Marsh, you also taking the 49ers on this one?
I mean,
wow, are you going to the Vikings?
No, God, no.
Come on. You never know.
I didn't come up with the team. I think the Eagles are still the clear-cut favorite.
Yeah, but who's the threat? Who's the biggest threat, Marsh?
I put Brian Johnson, their new offensive coordinator. Can he step in?
Understand the question?
I did understand the question, but I put my own spin on it.
It's the Shohei Ohtani conversation.
They lost their offensive coordinator. Can Brian Johnson, who's been with the team for I think 3 years now, can he step in and keep that offense doing what they did best last year? But I guess if there was a team, I guess I'll pick the 49ers. Even though they always do really well and end up not making it to the Super Bowl.
Hey, they made it to the Super Bowl in 1 year.
I guess they did a few times, but
they're a Jimmy Garoppolo to what's his face's, complete a pass. We're winning it.
Wasn't what was it, Mustard?
Raheem Mostert?
No, the guy that dropped the ball.
Oh yeah, that was the next year.
What was his name? In the NFC Championship game.
They hit the defensive back like right in the chest.
Oh, that was Jaquiski Tart.
Yeah,
that was the right.
It hit him so hard in the chest it scared him to death.
Yeah. I feel bad for that guy.
Why?
There's still 7.5 minutes left in that game. It's not like that was it.
Buddy. Everyone remembers his name.
Make a catch.
Everybody remembers
except for me.
Name. It absolutely is the 49ers, by the way. They got the best front seven in the NFC.
It's hard for me to pick them, though, because I think the Seahawks are going to make some noise in that division this year.
You're all about
Who the hell's their quarterback?
You're all about the Hawks.
We're relying.
Geno Smith.
No, I know that. We're relying on Brock Purdy.
Yes.
We're crowning him that he's a NFL just great quarterback, one of the top ones in the league.
What has he showed you at the NFL level that would lead you to believe that he's not capable?
I don't know. Maybe I'd like to see if he can
Justin
throw a
Fields,
football.
because Justin Fields running all over the place, right?
I'd like to see if he can still throw a football.
But Brock Purdy's got a lot to prove. Like Justin Fields, MVP candidate. We're just running all over the place. Can't throw the ball.
Let's look at their team. We got Christian McCaffrey, who can never stay healthy. We have Deebo Samuel, who can never stay healthy. We've had one good season of Brandon Ayuk.
You were just hyping up Brandon Ayuk.
Really I'm being realistic.
You just said he was like one of the best receivers. The tandem of
I
Deebo
did say
Samuel.
that.
Yeah.
But
what has Kyle Shanahan shown you?
He's shown me
he won
he
with
can have a really
Jimmy
good
G.
team that
He's
can't
won
get
with
it
Matt
done.
Ryan. He has won with Brock Purdy. Hell, he won with who's the Browns quarterback? The journeyman Browns quarterback.
Kirk Cousins in Washington too.
He did have Kirk Cousins in Washington.
Maybe I'll reconsider.
Come on, man. You don't have to believe in Brock Purdy, but you can believe in Kyle Shanahan.
I don't believe in that team.
Wow.
Brian Johnson's my answer.
Fair enough. All right, the biggest threat to the Bills in the AFC East.
Wow. This is such a wild card because what's Miami? Like is
football team and a city.
You're right. It's a beautiful city too at that. But what is Miami with Tua Tagovailoa under center? Like, is he healthy? Can he pick up where he left off before? If he can, I think it's the Dolphins. If he can't for whatever reason, I just don't know. I'm not sold 100% on the Jets.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Patriots are lying in the weeds here. Bill O'Brien back as the offensive coordinator. Mac Jones, Bill Belichick. I feel like they're lying in the weeds, but are they really? I don't know. I say it's the Dolphins.
I have the Jets.
Okay.
You gotta believe her, Anthony.
I have the Jets.
I thought he was going to go with Ken Dorsey or something.
Bill O'Brien.
I think the Bills' biggest threat is their stadium.
They play outdoors.
They play outdoors. It's the weather, Anthony.
It's Bill the Bison that they use for the mascot.
It's the kicker that missed that field goal 30 years ago.
It's the curse of Scott Norwood, wide right. All right, go ahead. So you're a big believer in the Jets.
Yeah.
You love the Jets, Jets.
I did not say I love them, but I do think they're the biggest threat. Tua, can he stay healthy? That's a big question mark. If he can, then that team definitely can win some games and they can score for sure. But I think the Jets are better than the Pats. And I don't know. There's a lot of hoopla surrounding them this offseason, so I'm going to go with them.
All right. I'm with Jamie on this. I agree. It's the Dolphins, and I think there's so much focus on the offense that we're overlooking that the Dolphins' defense is going to be really good.
No Jalen Ramsey though.
Losing Jalen Ramsey certainly hurts. They've got the best front seven in football. I think they're better. They're slightly better than the Eagles in that regard. They hired their new defensive coordinator. Jeez, why do I forget his name? The coordinator is Josh Boyer, excuse me. So when it comes to the talent that they have on defense, I think that is an overlooked aspect. If McDaniel could kind of figure out how to mix the run in a little bit more, play more of a time of possession game, you don't have to try to outscore everybody by 40. If he could do that, he could save his defense. I think that defense is going to be really good. I think the Dolphins are the biggest threat there. Who's the biggest threat to the Jaguars in the AFC South?
I don't know.
This might be the toughest.
It's got to be the Titans.
It's going to be Titans for me. Got to be. You got Derrick Henry. You have a chance.
Those other teams stink.
And you got DeAndre Hopkins.
What about the Colts?
They stink.
What about the Texans?
Double stink.
I'm going to go with the Texans just for fun. CJ Stroud. They get D'Amico Ryans.
What is it with you and the Texans this year?
I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for them this year. Because everybody thinks that they're just going to be terrible. Well, what if they're not?
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
It's just a new start for them.
Yeah. Fresh beginning.
Vic Fangio. That's what I thought. Vic Fangio's their. That's what I was trying. I don't know why I couldn't think of Vic Fangio's name. It's not Josh Boyd. It's Vic Fangio. Idiot. Vic Fangio is their new defensive coordinator. Completely like the hamster. Jamie got drunk.
Must have tripped on himself.
He fell off the wheel. There's nothing. The hamster got so far off the wheel inside my dome. They didn't. No effort to get back on the wheel.
Probably saw a few geese walking across the road.
Probably got distracted.
Just turning cameras around and doing whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah. And he was hammered. He gave me the wrong name.
Yeah.
Come on, hamster.
Did you say Michael Poyer?
No, I said Josh Boyer.
Oh, okay.
Ken Boyer. The Cardinals retired his number.
They did. We learned that a few seconds ago.
Anyways, yeah, it's Houston. I think it's the Texans. And finally, who's the biggest threat to the Vikings in the NFC North? I think it's the Packers, who everybody's sleeping on.
The threat to the Lions?
No, to the Vikings, who are the the NFC North division champions.
Yeah,
the defending champs.
It's absolutely the Lions. Bottom line.
O'Rory and the gang, huh?
Yep.
I mean, team-wise, it's the Lions, but we all know it's themselves.
Oh, my God.
It is!
Kirk Cousins.
No, if there's a tier list on how do the Vikings beat themselves, Kirk Cousins is definitely below the defense.
True.
He's definitely below the defense. So.
I like Brian Flores.
I do, too.
Who's their defensive coordinator. Thank you, hamster. Came up with that one quickly. Or were you on Vic Fangio? Anyways. All right. That's your Sports Six Pack here on 101 ESPN. I'm sorry, that's your biggest stress. We got the Sports Six Pack coming up next. I'm sorry. Okay, that wasn't a big deal. I looked down. I saw the Sports Six Pack. I was going to tease it. Let's calm down. Let's calm down a little bit.
Hamster needs a mixing of water.
I'll give you the Vic Fangio
coffee
one,
and sleep it off.
I looked down. I saw a Sports Six Pack. Take it easy. The Sports Six Pack is next. Everybody relax.
Are we sure? Are you looking to remodel your kitchen or maybe your bathroom? Well, please call my friends down at E&B Granite for a non-committal consultation. And all you got to do is call 314-645-9300. E&B Granite has proudly provided the St. Louis area with exceptional customer service. And I can tell you that the product is fantastic. I redid my kitchen. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but walked into the showroom down at 6135 Manchester Avenue and said, hey, guys, help me out here. They said, pull up a chair. And they showed me a lot of different options and possibilities for my kitchen. It was awesome. The sales representative was a huge help. And then when it came time to pick the countertops and the backsplash and all that, well, the countertops are all in the back in the warehouse. I get to walk up and down the rows, and take a look at what I liked. And they had so many options from granite to quartz to marble, even soapstone countertops back there. And then the process was great from there. The representatives were fantastic. I've never been happier with the customer service and the product that I've received and dealing with E&B Granite. So please, again, call them at 314-645-9300, or you can visit them at enbgranite.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions.
Question number 1.
All right, guys, from Text Line Tough Guy, my question for the Blues 2024 season is, would you rather have a baseball team that spends a bunch of money or a team that doesn't spend a bunch of money? I can't wait for the answer.
I just want a team that wins.
Same.
Don't care how they do it.
Yeah.
Unlike certain texters, I care about our teams.
Yeah.
I want to win.
Very
I just
true.
don't want to see them lose.
Yeah.
We got a couple of texters, one in particular that just wants the Cardinals to lose because it fulfills his negative,
spirit. Soul and spirit.
Yeah.
And for this texter specifically, coming up in 15 minutes, we will break down, of course, what the Mexican ping pong team is doing nationally.
I mean, they're having a good run.
Certainly have. They got that one guy.
Yeah,
he's playing those ping pongs better than anybody.
Have you guys been keeping up on the professional pillow boxing, pillow fight boxing?
Yeah.
I've seen it on ESPN too.
Yeah.
There's one guy named Turbo. Forgot his last name. Maybe the text
Johnson.
I don't know if it was that. I think it was something else.
Yeah.
Turbo Johnson. Yeah. By the way,
He's a hard worker.
By the way, Italy up on Oregon right now, 4-3 in the LL
softball World Series.
WS. It's an elimination game, ages 10 to 12. Bottom of the second. If Oregon doesn't get better pitching, especially in the later innings, guys, they're going to lose to Italy here in this elimination game.
Ruby Modern looking like she's going to drop down a bunt here. It's a big at-bat. All plays out of it, though.
Pulled back, though. Not good. Not good.
All right.
So we'll keep you updated on that. And, of course, every sport known to man for you on the text line that is demanding that we talk different sports.
Yeah, Turbo Tarabi is his name. Men's Pillow Fight Championship, the PFC. I wonder if Brad knows anything about the PFC. I know he's been real big into bowling, professional bowling, but the Pillow Fight Championships, Turbo Tarabi. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Double T, they call
Question number 2.
They certainly do.
Speaking of that,
they don't call him low T. They call him double T.
Yeah.
Speaking of the fan that wants his team to lose, we got a text from the 618. Anthony, you actually challenged the 618 to come up with a trade scenario.
Oh, did he give us one?
He did. We actually got a few of them. So the Cardinals, and he used the trade generator that you and I used as well.
Oh, yeah, you guys agree with that.
So the
I
Cards
actually did the research.
The Cards get Brian Wu.
Did you? Remember? My brain was mush.
Yes, that is true. I threw out just an aside before we get to the 618's trade scenarios here, which I appreciate him sending. I did challenge him. He came through. But Jamie that day, I had said, hey, if you want to come up with a couple of different trades, and Jamie started to shake.
Yeah,
like he was shaking
like
uncontrollably. Yeah. I'm like, what's wrong, Jamie? What's wrong, big guy?
Yeah.
And he goes, it took me 12 hours to come up with one trade with one team, and you're like, I can't come up with another one. And it's like, okay, man, don't worry about it. But remember, you started to convulse.
He looked like Doctor Strange in Infinity War. He's coming up with 14 million different options.
I don't know what that is, but yes.
I worked through, I don't even know how many teams, minor league systems and prospects. By the time it was done, I was done. I almost couldn't get on the show. I had seen so many pitchers and their scouting reports and all this crap that I was exhausted. I gave you my best. I thought it was a good trade. The Cardinals didn't listen.
Yeah.
But
nonetheless,
we almost lost Jamie for the full show before the show started. You guys absolutely lost me the entire show while we were still there.
Yes. Yeah. Marsh didn't say anything. All right, anyways, go ahead.
Anyways, the trade.
Yeah,
Brian Wu.
Yep.
The Mariners get Alec Burleson.
No.
Cooper Jerpy.
No.
Tyler O'Neill. Is it Connor?
I think it's Connor.
Tyler O'Neill and Juan Yepez.
Okay, so let's break this down. Tyler O'Neill, just one more year left of Tyler O'Neill, an injury-prone player. Juan Yepez is nothing. He's a human being, so I don't want to say he's nothing, but he's been terrible this year. He's barely cracked the big league roster once this season. Jerpy is the Cardinals now, I think, 7th or 8th best pitching prospect, and Alec Burleson, who you should be able to find in any organization. For Brian Wu, a young cost control pitcher. If I'm the Mariners, I'm saying, so basically what I'm getting out of that is Burleson, who is a DH, and Jerpy, who is not one of your better pitching prospects at the moment. Because Juan Yepez and Tyler O'Neill to me doesn't count. So that's what I'm getting, and I'm giving you a young cost. Like Brian Wu's 23 years old. I'm going to say no if I'm the Mariners to that. But I do appreciate that the 618 threw out a trade scenario. I did challenge him on that. Thank you for at least participating with something that is going to give us something to kind of get into.
Oh, we got another one.
I can appreciate that.
We got another trade.
We do? Okay.
We got another trade.
What do we got?
Eduardo Rodriguez and Tariq Skubal.
Who?
Tigers get Alec Burleson, Tommy Edman, Dakota Hudson, Tyler O'Neill. Boom, easy. That was the following text message.
This one's at least more intriguing to me because if I'm the Tigers, while I'm giving up Tariq Skubal, who is my best young pitcher at the moment, best big league pitcher, Rodriguez, I think he's got a player option, so I don't know how that would work in terms of a trade. But Skubal would be interesting, and at least I'm getting Tommy Edman. What was the rest? Burleson does nothing for me if I'm another team. I got to have a Burleson somewhere in my organization.
Dak Hudson?
No.
Tyler O'Neill?
No. So basically, it's Tommy Edman for Scooble. It's probably a no, but I'll give the 618 on that intrigues me. I think that would be an intriguing trade. If you swap out Dakota Hudson for one of your, at least like your top 5 pitching prospect, so maybe one of these guys that you just got, then I think that's interesting. Because at least you're enticing me with Tommy Edman. Like, including Dakota Hudson does nothing for me if I'm the Tigers.
What?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Wow. You've changed.
Sorry. I like it, though. Thank you for participating in that.
Question number 3.
Wow, we're just cruising along here.
Well, Marsh, we can always carry it over.
I mean, you make a really good point. Make a great point.
Do you want to?
I think we carry it over, Anthony.
Let's carry it over.
Let's party.
Let me genuinely say,
yeah,
because I was heated with the 618 earlier, but I thought I think this is a lot of progress.
You guys connected.
We connected.
Yeah.
First of all, I told him I loved him, and I do.
I don't remember hearing that.
I did. I said I did.
I've never heard that out of your.
I did. At the very end, I said I love you, and I said, listen.
To who?
The 618.
Oh, you were making eye contact with me. I thought
the 618 isn't here, so I've got to look at somebody.
But when you're making eye contact with me and you say,
I do love you.
I felt weird yet not uncomfortable.
Jamie, Marsh, I love you guys. I love you guys like brothers. You know that. When it comes to the 618, I think he needs to hear it more. You know, I think he needs to hear it more. So I feel like there's now we've crossed. Maybe we haven't crossed the bridge, but we're at least standing on the opposite side of the bridge now.
You two were at a crossroad.
We were at a crossroads
about 2 hours ago,
and I said to him, "I said, hey,
an hour and a half ago.
Everybody else is not going to humor you. Everybody else is just gonna, treat you like crap. Not me. I'm going to tell you maybe what you don't want to hear, but what you need to hear." Wow. And what did he do? He stepped up.
He did.
Gave us multiple trades. Multiple trades. I love it. Today is a monumental day.
It really is.
The 618 went from Cardinals are garbage and so are you guys to giving us trades.
He cares.
He cares. And I care about him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Marsh, you feel it too, don't you?
Yeah.
Dusty in here.
Thank you, 618. Thank you. Man. Nobody else is gonna tell you that today. Thank you. It's a huge day.
Let's go to break.
I'll go to break when I want to go to break. I'll Riz show this thing to the rest of the show. I'll stay on.
It's a fast lane here
and then play 20 minutes of commercials at the end.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh as we continue our Sports Six-Pack, which was completely derailed by Jamie earlier.
Question number 3.
It was pretty embarrassing, actually. From the 314, would you trade Jordan Walker to the Rays for McClanahan? And I don't know if this texter knows what happened.
Shane McClanahan he's done. He's got shut down for the rest of the year. No, I wouldn't. That's tough. Like, when he's healthy, Shane McClanahan is an ace. If Jordan Walker winds up being one of those once-in-a-generational talents, and we don't know, okay? We don't know. I'm not saying he is. But if he winds up being one of those once-in-a-generational talents, then no. Sorry.
No.
I wouldn't trade Gorman right now either, by the way. I wouldn't trade Gorman. I wouldn't trade Jordan Walker. Everybody else I'm considering.
Everybody else is
I wouldn't trade Arenado.
Question number 4.
From the 314, which team that was not in the postseason last year could you see making a run to the World Series?
That wasn't in the postseason last year.
That was not in the postseason last year.
The Baltimore Orioles, I could see making a run to the World Series.
I feel like they have a lot of karma, a lot of bad karma coming their way.
You know, Marsh, you bring up good points.
Yeah.
Not in the playoffs last year, you said? I don't think the Twins are going to make a deep run. The Texas Rangers, I could see making a deep run. That's Jamie's favorite team ever.
Yeah, that's no, not ever, but.
Okay, so really the Rangers. I'll say the Rangers and the Orioles. Those are the only team. If I can only pick one, I would pick the Rangers because they have better pitching. They're going to be able to throw Max Scherzer in game 1 of any playoff series. That's pretty good. And they're going to back him up with John Gray and Jordan Montgomery, guys that can at least hold their own.
Uh-huh.
But they're going to be able to go into every series and throw an ace. So I would go with them. Jamie?
Yeah, that was my pick, of course.
Your favorite team?
Question number 5.
From the 314, if you were able to go on a stadium tour of all the stadiums in one of the 4 major sports, which sport would it be?
Baseball, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. I think hockey and football are way too, and basketball for that matter. You're not, I mean, everything's kind of the same.
Well, I think football has some variety because you do have some indoor stadiums, you do have some outdoor stadiums.
That's true, and you got some historic, like Lambeau Field, historic, Arrowhead, awesome.
Field.
Yeah, Soldier Field. I've been there so many times, and I'm like,
Yeah, I definitely, though, it's baseball. With the backdrops of certain stadiums where they've got the waterfalls, or they've got this, or they got that, or the brick wall there. What is it? In Baltimore, they've got the
Oriole Park, Camden Yards.
Like, there's so many different looking stadiums. Fenway. Like, we haven't got into the historical.
Right, Wrigley.
Baseball, hands down.
Yeah, that's. And the teams don't even have to be good. Like Pittsburgh, I hear, is the PNC Park apparently.
I've never been, but I've heard it's amazing.
Incredible. And the Pirates aren't even good. So you can go and enjoy the stadium experience without the team being good.
Yeah.
So baseball, yep.
Question number 6.
Hey, we did it.
Look at us. Got through all 6.
Yeah, we did.
One segment.
Yeah.
Or two.
From the 314, why are you discounting Burleson so much? He was a top 100 prospect and is still a rookie doing pretty well.
Yeah, Anthony.
What position does he play at an elite level? That is my point with Alec Burleson.
Yeah.
What position does he play at an elite level?
I mean, did you see him stretching the other day at first base?
I'm not just looking.
Stretch?
I'm not just looking at I mean, we can't sit here and bitch about the Cardinals' defense and lack of an overall team and then say, what's your problem with Burleson? I don't have a problem with Burleson outside of the fact that what position does he play? They've got 90 DHs on this damn team. They need to build a team at some point. If I'm another team, I'm looking at Alec Burleson, I'm saying, do we have in our farm system somebody that can match what this kid is doing? I'm sure they can. In other words, can we find a left-hander with some pop that can't play defense? I'm not just looking at the offensive numbers. I'm looking at the
but even his offensive
player.
numbers aren't elite.
Well, that's because he's not getting the at-bats.
And why is
give him more
that?
at-bats? Because you have 90 DHs.
That's correct.
I'm with you on this one, Anthony.
Thank you.
I get it.
And this isn't a shot at the 618.
I don't think it was him, was it?
In both of his trade scenarios. And maybe this is just because, I don't know, alphabetical order or something, but both of them are like, Alec Burleson. If Alec Burleson cannot be the key in that trade.
Well, what if the Tampa Bay Rays like Alec Burleson?
Oh, keep him. Hold on to him. Don't you dare
does that
give him
change
up.
things?
Then he's my cleanup hitter and he's my DH for life.
But where are you going to play him?
Who cares?
He's my DH for
we'll
life.
ask Tampa where they're going to play him.
Yeah. Where do you plan on playing him, Tampa?
Hypothetically, how would you have this player?
Yeah.
Where would you play him?
By the way, this was my exact line of thinking when it came to the Cardinals holding on to Harrison Bader as if he was Joe DiMaggio for a while. They did not want to give up Harrison Bader in a deal for Zach Wheeler.
Insane.
And Wheeler was he was going to be a free agent. I get it. It was a rental. But that was a year that they actually were competing. And they're like, no, not Harrison Bader. If you don't have another Harrison Bader in your organization, what are you doing? Harrison Bader's a fine player. He's a good player. If I can't find another Alec Burleson in my organization, that's a me problem. The Mariners are not going to give you a pitcher in a deal that is like centered on Alec Burleson.
Mm-hmm.
So what's my problem with Burleson? Nothing. I think he's a fine player for what he does. I think he's a left-hander with pop who can't play defense.
We got a question from, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. Some could say it's a demand.
Ooh.
But it's from the 618.
Okay.
This will be our honorable mention for the Sports Six Pack.
Yeah.
If you could give me a better nickname than the 618.
Sure.
I want the Cardinals to win championships. I'm so tired of this mediocrity.
Okay.
Does he get a new nickname?
Yes. It's a new start.
Wow, I don't know. It's hard to. It's such an iconic name. It's like changing.
He's asking. So he's
like changing
saying,
a sports team.
But he's saying
Cities.
I'm willing to change. That's what he's saying, right? So if he's willing to change, we got to meet him halfway, guys.
Yeah.
Can't keep this guy down constantly. Marsh, I still think you should be embarrassed for trading him for a possum.
I didn't do that.
That wasn't Marshy.
More of a group effort.
I don't know who it was, but it wasn't Marshy.
I can't remember who it was now.
He says trio. What does that mean?
Trio. The 6-1 trio? I don't know.
Maybe he's saying that all three of us traded him.
Oh, it was a trio. Yeah, it was a team effort. Yeah.
It was.
I actually wasn't here the day you guys
Brad
traded him.
Thompson. That's who it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I wasn't here the day you guys traded him for the possum.
But yeah, you can get a new name. Yeah, let's call him
6-1 change.
The 6-1 change.
That was suggested by another number.
That's pretty good. The 6-1 change.
6-1 changed.
The 6-1 change.
This guy goes, what is this, Rocky 4?
Totally.
If you can change,
Totally.
I can change. We all can change.
How about World Series or bust? You know?
What? No, I don't like that.
Okay. You want something more degrading.
We'll have
It wasn't degrading.
You know what? Let's let the
other texters?
The people decide. Let's let the texters decide.
Let's let the people decide.
He says trio. That's what my friends call me.
That we can't give you.
I don't know what that means.
You don't get to pick your own name. That's the thing. Like in hockey, like you don't ever get to pick like unique nickname. Right.
Well, in hockey, it's always just
unique nicknames.
Benningtonese. Like it's always something like that.
I learned that Jamie's nickname was Boom Boom for a while. It was on the back of your hockey card.
That is true.
We're getting
What
a lot
did
of
that mean?
6-1
A lot of stories
great.
behind that one, Anthony.
The 6-1 great. I kind of like the 6-1 change.
You can't go to 6-1 great. It's been 1, 2, or 3 texts that have been okay.
You get the Jinx 1-8
though.
I know, but that's it. 6-1 change.
Yeah.
The 6-1 bait. He's baiting you into saying something.
We'll think about it.
Figure it out.
What's trending is next.
Last Miles Michaelis.
He loves our nicknames.
He loves us all.
What's trending is next on 101 ESPN.
What's trending in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a half-price Cardinals ticket voucher.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. We got Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending.
Would you guys ever wear pink pants?
I used to own pink pants.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why? We must have somebody. Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Oh, he's wearing the chinos.
Wow. They are bright pink.
It's more of a salmon color.
Oh, no. Salmon would be toned down a little bit.
So for
I think
those,
it's the lighting.
so for those that don't know, so we're looking out. We're looking out into our parking lot. And we overlook a parking lot. There's a strip mall right underneath our studios here in Creve Coeur, and there's a gentleman. I think you got to be confident if you're going to wear salmon pants, right? Would you guys? I think the only guy in the room that could pull it. Actually, you know what, Marsh? I think you could pull it.
I have all sorts of different colored chino pants and shorts and all that stuff.
I think Marsh is the only guy in the room that could pull it off.
I think Jamie can pull it off.
Can. Jamie, I think, could do it, but
I'd wear them. I don't know if I'd pull them off, but maybe, depending on the circumstance.
I think you'd pull them off.
Yeah.
You would definitely pull them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I mean is like own the room, kind of pull it off. You know?
Yeah. I'd do it. I don't mind.
Okay.
We're a lot of bold.
I think you could too. Marsh for sure.
Yeah.
I think you can. I definitely could not.
So
I'd be like, look at me. I look like an idiot right now.
Since we're talking fashion right now, Jamie, I think you might have been here. I don't know if you might have been gone this day or just not in the office at the time, but Matthew Rocchio, this was a couple weeks ago, tried telling me that wearing purple and red when it came to fashion was a thing. That it goes
Pairing
together.
Purple and red.
Purple and red.
That's clashing.
That's what I said. But then he started to describe the color wheel and color theory, and that's where he lost me.
Here's what happened: is someone told Matt Rocchio that and sold him on that, and they did that so he would wear purple and red together, and then they could laugh.
So they did it to laugh in his face?
I don't know about his face.
That's tough.
Purple
man.
and red is not a combination I would put on anyone, male, female. I wouldn't put it on my dog.
Ouch.
I care about my dog. All of them.
Yeah.
Do you dress your dog?
No.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely not. I don't have a dog. I wouldn't dress it, though. I would never dress it. I feel bad for the dog when the dog is being dressed by a human being. No way.
I don't dress the dogs either. Now, on Halloween, I have put a costume on the dog because it's kind of funny.
It's different. It's
until they
Halloween.
rip it off.
Yeah.
But I will say this. You know, my brother up in Canada, he's got a little wee dog there, and it gets cold, really cold up at the lake. And when he lets her out to go to the bathroom, like sometimes she won't go to the bathroom because it's too cold on her paws.
Okay.
So he puts little boots. Got the little, remember I showed you the little boots on this dog's feet and the little jacket so she can go pee. I took his man card immediately.
Yeah.
However,
it is Canada, though.
It's, there's a purpose to it.
I think that the dog should be able to bite you if you're trying to dress it up in non-Canada cold situations. Like if you were like you, Jamie, like come here, Fido, I'm gonna dress you. I think the dog should be able to bite you, and you not. Like, you have to just own it.
You have to just wear it.
You have to just wear it. Yeah. Like, the dog bit you. That's not good.
Yeah.
No, try to dress it up. Oh, okay.
So the one thing about the dressing up the dogs that I just never understood, and I know some people love it. They love, especially like the little carrying dogs or the lap dogs or whatever you want to call those types of dogs, that category. How do we know the dogs like it? What if it's one of the most miserable things that they're experiencing?
Exactly.
But they obviously can't tell us. And then if they growl or nip, we we reprimand them and say, no bite. And you jam the paw in the sleeve anyways. So I don't know. I guess if I pulled out an outfit and my dog came running over and was like super excited, I'd be like, okay, he likes wearing this thing. But if I have to grab the dog and hold it or have you hold it and put it on,
No.
I just don't know.
No. I don't like it at all. Sorry, Marsh, go ahead. What's trending today?
Oh, I was just going to bring up that the Cardinals are playing, but they're playing like one of the best teams in baseball, so I don't really know how this stretch of games are going to really go for the team.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Not well.
It's a good way of putting it, for sure.
Dude, wasn't it Miles Michaelis who at Tropicana a year ago almost had like the no-no? Didn't he give up the one home run and that was it? I thought he pitched well. And then I looked at his ERA against the Rays in his career.
I don't think
it's
that
like a
was
7.
there. I think that was here at Busch.
No.
He almost threw a no-no, I think, against the Pirates last year. The only thing I can remember that happened against the Rays last year was when Drew Homer Hagen gave up a home run, I think, in like the 9th inning last year.
I'm surprised you remembered that specific situation.
I think that's where he got his name.
Hagen.
That's where the inception of his name came from.
I could have sworn the Cardinals went to Tampa last year and Miles Michaelis pitched incredibly well. And then, like I said, I looked at his ERA against the Rays and it's like a 7.
What you thought and what actually happened, Anthony. These are things that are true.
Okay. All right. That's fine, Jamie.
There's lots of things I think to be true, and then I wake up in the morning and find out that they're not.
You know, Jamie, I'm just going to take that judgment that you just laid on me, and I'm not even going to react to it because I know in my heart that Miles Michaelis pitched his ass off against the Rays last year.
Okay.
He did. He went 8 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks. He gave up a home run to G-Man Choi in the 4th inning that wound up being the difference, 2-1. There you go.
Okay.
Now we can both believe it. You didn't believe in me there, which is fine.
Anthony, I don't even know what you're talking about anymore.
By the way, Tyler O'Neill scratched.
I told you, the walk from the car to the stadium is tough.
It's my home run call tonight.
Well, we'll give you a redo. You guys let me that one time.
Okay. Who'd you guys take?
I've got Storm and Gorman. Marshy, who do you have?
I have
Dylan Carlson for no reason.
I did. Yeah, for no reason.
I'm sorry. He's got good numbers against Zach Efron.
Yeah, he's great left.
I think it's Zach Efron, but nonetheless. I'm going... I'll take Nolan Arenado to hit a home run tonight.
Alrighty, I'll put that in the books. We did.
Do you think Tyler O'Neill sneezed? Threw out his back?
Blew out a rib?
I don't know.
Guys, it's not funny.
It really isn't, but I mean,
funny.
Isn't this part of the conversation though too with Tyler O'Neill? Yeah. Is this not part of the conversation?
How do we know he's hurt?
He got scratched.
What if he
scratched? Maybe he's ill.
Maybe he got hurt feelings again?
Do you remember when
you think he got hurt
Jordan
feelings?
Walker was sick one time and we all threw a fit?
What if
You threw a fit.
I didn't. I might have threw a fit.
You threw a fit.
You did.
And so did Twitter or X. Whatever.
What if
What's his nuts is calling it these
Tyler O'Neill had some bad lettuce or a bad vegetable?
Yeah, that's true. He is.
I mean, that runs right through you. Anthony.
It does. You're right.
It does.
You ever go to one thing I will not do anymore.
Wear white pants?
It was wear white no. When I was doing a lot of traveling a couple of years ago, and I was trying to eat healthy. Anything that is quick with lettuce, forget it.
No.
Salad, certainly. Okay, no. But, like, you get a sandwich, right? Like, man, these sandwiches look good. The prepackaged sandwiches, on the go, whatever. With lettuce, no way. That's instant death. I will not do that when I travel.
Yeah.
I would rather get something unhealthy that I know is going to go through me properly than get something that I think is halfway healthy,
and
but it's got that damn lettuce. Exactly. I'm going to eat healthy. No, you're not. You're going to want to die later.
And then you look in there and you go, I swear I chewed it.
Exactly. Jamie gets it.
I've been there.
He knows. Anyways.
By the way, the 573 wanted us to know that it's Eflin, not Efron, in case you two were confused by any means.
Thank you. We know.
By the way, we can get to this.
Jamie would call that, and no offense, but Jamie would call that.
Oh, fish on.
Fish on.
Fish on.
We can do this now, or we can do this later. But we got We got a mic drop from
I think I've heard
John
that before.
Fozelak.
Do we? We'll do it later.
I've heard that line before.
We got to get to beat the streak because the Cardinals
the game's about to
first
start.
pitch in 10 minutes. So we got to beat the streak. Do we have a new beat the streak contestant?
Yeah, we'll find one.
Okay.
We'll find out.
All right. Marsh, do you have to run back to the office?
Nope. Nope. I just got to open a tab.
All right. Marsh is going to open up that tab cola, and we'll get to beat the streak. And biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN.
If you are looking for replacement windows, look no further. My friends over at Window World, the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues, they've got you covered. They have an incredible product, a double-strength glass that you just don't see in ordinary replacement windows. I went into the back of the warehouse. John Gillette, one of the owners, right there with me, told me to stand on the window. He was all confident, and he should have been. It didn't break. It was fantastic. It's a great product. And what that means, not only is it durable, but in the hot summers, it keeps the heat out. In the cold winters, it keeps the cold outside. And that helps certainly on the old wallet when you're paying your utility bills. They also offer you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. And I will say this with confidence. Customer service is at the forefront of everything for my friends over at Window World, who are still offering, by the way, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So please stop by. They're right off Highway 70. You can say hi to them. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in, or you can call them at 314-993-1800. Again, that's 314-993-1800, or you can look them up at windowworld.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for Sports Center Update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards back in action tonight, 5:40 first pitch, so about 7 to 8 minutes. Miles Michaelis will take the mound, go up against Zach Eflin as the Cards look to get back in the win column. They're 11.5 games out of first place and 10 out of the final wild card spot. Once again, Cards Rays 5:40 first pitch. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find the full show there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our Beat the Streak and biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
To hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
All right, time to play Beat the Streak ahead of tonight's Cardinals game, which starts in about 5 minutes or so. They're in Tampa to take on the Rays. It'll be Zach Eflin versus Miles Michaelis. And Chase is back with us after he collected a hit on Friday when we played Beat the Streak. In fact, Marsh, why don't you go ahead and update us on those standings, please?
All right, so unfortunate for Jamie. He did not get a hit. That's actually 3 in a row. 3 in a row. Jamie has not received a hit from his players.
You have to point that out.
Well, I'm just, you don't have to criticize me for stating facts.
You know what? You should be suspended.
Thank you.
For reading off statistics like you just did.
You're going to love this one. Anthony, you have gone 2 days in a row without getting a hit. However, Chase and I both received hits on Friday. And so Chase will actually lead us off because we all
stink. Yeah. Chase doesn't stink, though. He's 1 for 1.
Nah, yeah.
What's up, Chase?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
You the man. That's
you
how
had
we're
me
doing.
Worried. I thought I got kicked off the show.
No. Why? Why'd you think that?
Before you went to break, you said you got a new contestant, right?
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
we were just,
Chase,
we were just talking.
Chase, I'm an idiot.
Anthony screws up all the time.
Yeah, I screw up all the time, man. Marsh is okay, you don't have to kick me when I'm down. I'm already down.
He took advantage of that.
Jeez, I'm already down. My man didn't even step over me. He just stepped on me. No, I don't. I actually, Chase, I don't control all that. Marsh is the genius behind the wheel here. So, anyways, Chase, who would you like?
So I was tempted once Tyler O'Neill got scratched to go with Alec Burleson, but I'm going to stick with my original pick, Mr. Tommy Two Bad, 4 for 8 off Zach Eflin in his career. We're going to go with Tommy Edman.
Okay. Chase got Tommy Edman. He is off the board. Marshy.
I got to go with the Cardinal left fielder. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't play for the team anymore. Randy Arozarena.
Wow. That was a dig, big time.
Talking about kicking a team when they're down.
No kidding. Is it Jamie or I here? Or is it Jamie or me?
It would be
Jamie or my. Who knows?
Jamie and my. By my, I mean Anthony Stalter. You're up.
I'm up. Well, Marsh, you had mentioned to me about I've gone back to back without collecting a hit, correct?
Do you want to know which players they are?
Yes.
Lars Nootbaar,
yep.
Jordan Walker.
Yeah, that's the problem. Guys, when I built my 13-game winning streak, I did so on the backs of other teams.
Exactly.
Specifically the Marlins and Luis Ariz. But nonetheless, Jamie, the fact that I've been going Cardinals has been a major mistake that I would like to rectify tonight. I'm going Wander Franco from the Tampa Bay Rays, a legit hitter playing for a legit team. Give me Franco.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Did I sound like Jack Flaherty there for a second? A good team. I'm glad I'm playing for a good team tonight.
Anthony, you're just describing the art of beat the streak.
Very true.
All right. Do we know who replaced Tyler O'Neill?
Yes, we do. Let me tell you. Your lineup, Nootbaar, Goldschmidt, Gorman, Arenado, Contreras, Alec Burleson, who will probably do great tonight because I've been ripping him all day. Walker, Carlson, and Edman. I really haven't been ripping him. But.
All right. I'm going to go in a different direction. going to go with Gorman.
Okay.
That's
All right.
That's my guy.
Our listener, Chase, he's got Tommy Edman. Marsh, you got Randy Rosarina. I've got Wander Franco. And Jamie took his one and only best friend, Nolan Gorman. That's Beat the Streak. Chase, good luck, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow, hopefully.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right, there you go. Let's beat the streak.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, gentlemen, we got a text earlier from the 314. What do you guys think is motivating Mo? He's not a hungry young GM anymore. Something to ponder. What does he stand to gain versus what does he stand to lose? Found that to be interesting.
Oh, I think he's got more to lose than he has to gain in some respects, because if he winds up not fixing this thing in a hurry, and I mean within the next 2 years, because that's the contract, right? If he doesn't fix it in the next 2 years and they wind up missing the playoffs for the next 2 years, you would have wasted prime opportunities with Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, guys like Jordan Walker, if he continues to prosper, Nolan Gorman. You would have wasted that because you couldn't figure out the pitching. So in my opinion, I think he's got more to lose at this point.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's got a World Series ring. Mm-hmm. He's had a team that's made the playoffs, umpteen amount of times. He's had divisions that they've won, all that stuff.
He's won 2 pennants.
Yeah, he's won 2 pennants. So he's got way more to lose here. I've told you before, this is his legacy now. Because of people's memory spans, you only remember what's happened recently. This will be Mo's legacy for a short period of time until then people go, well, we really should look at the whole body of work, but we're not going to do that for a while. We're just not. We're going to go, how did his tenure end with the Cardinals? Well, it ended with no pitching. He didn't get this guy signed. They had 2 or 3 tumultuous years. Couldn't figure it out. So I think he's got everything to lose at this point. Not everything. He's got a lot more to lose by not, rectifying this, by not making the Cardinals competitive again right away next year.
Yeah. And a lot of it is on him because we know he doesn't have an open checkbook. He's not Dave Dombrowski. A lot of people are like, Dave Dombrowski, that guy's awesome. Yeah, because he gets a blank check every year from his owners.
Yeah.
Or he trades the farm system until the farm system is completely depleted, so he brings in proven talent. Hey, he's won before. That is one way to do it. But it's not like Mozeliak is dealing with the Phillies ownership group or the Mets ownership group. Dave Dombrowski this year, what did he do? He went on to, he went for it. Trey Turner. You need the approval of your ownership group. So he's not going to get a blank check. He's going to have to do it in a manner that is more difficult, in my opinion, than when you get the blank check. But that's just kind of the process that presidents of baseball operations or GMs in St. Louis have to go about it. You're right in the middle. It's like we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Payroll, we'll get you 11th, maybe 9th. If I'm feeling frisky, I'll get you to 9th. You're not going to be top 5 in payroll. A lot of times you're not top 10.
Well, he's just going to have to suck it up, Anthony. And I don't mean by opening up the wallet. If the wallet's not an option, if it's not,
yes,
you have a plethora of young players and prospects that you can throw out there at people. You also have rostered players that you can move on from.
Yeah.
So it's time to suck it up. It's time to not worry about Randy Rosarina again. It's time to go out there and acquire what you need to acquire, but being confident in it, like going after a certain pitcher or two and saying, you know what, this player might end up being better than what he was here. I don't care. I need that pitcher, and that pitcher might end up being better for us here.
Yeah.
And make us a better ball club.
Good call.
I think he's just got to go for it.
He's got to go get Shohei. There's no doubt.
That'd be nice.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We'll wrap up the show, and we'll also have a mention, I think, right? A mic drop from John Volselak. So that's all coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
All right, serious question for everybody out there right now. Do you actually know your insurance provider? Not the company, the actual person that you deal with. And is it always the same person? Probably not. I know I was in the same position as you guys. Used to have 1-800 number. You call, get somebody different all the time. That was until I joined the Bibb Agency. Tracy Bibb and her staff are fantastic. They're always looking to save you money on your car or your home insurance. And I can tell you this, it's about the coverage too. Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency make sure that they get you the proper coverage, and they're going to fight for you. They're going to get you the best price possible, and they get to know you. You become part of the Bibb family over there. They remember you. You call them. They have a vivid recollection of what you're driving, that your kids are insured or going to be insured soon for driving a vehicle. It's so important that you know your insurance agent. So please don't waste any more time. Pick up the phone. Call Tracy for a non-committal quote. That number is 314-328-4260. Again, it's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. By the way, Gene won the tickets today. Marsh didn't want to announce his name, but Jamie and I came together and we said, I think it's only right. So
That's
Gene
ridiculous.
won the tickets for the Bud Bash. He had the correct answer to the trivia question, which was what year did Gary Gaetti win his lone World Series? Okay, correct answer is 1987 against the Cardinals, unfortunately. So, yeah, 1987. So, congratulations to Gene. Marsh, I don't understand why you didn't appreciate that he had the correct answer and he won the tickets, but congratulations nonetheless.
It's weird how you were so angry about it.
Yeah, very weird. Whatever. Okay. Marsh, do we want to hear from John Foselak?
Yeah, John Foselak has a mic drop regarding a trade that didn't happen. Even mentions one of your favorite players, Anthony, that you really enjoyed watching here in St. Louis.
Okay.
So, I think that it's important to, kind of look back and see how we got here. So, obviously we've had some bad signings in the past, and I think that where it all started was when we had signed Dexter Fowler. So we obviously were targeting Adam Eaton that offseason, and, forget what team he was on, but they just wanted too much. At that time we had a Aledmus Diaz, who we liked a lot, but we offered him for Adam Eaton. And, when you look at the Eaton-Diaz trade and it not coming to fruition, it kind of threw off the balance of just everything we know. So, sure, we loved Eaton, we loved Diaz, and I think when we put that trade together, we thought it was win-win for both sides. And we look back at that Eaton Diaz offer, and with that not going through and being turned down, which is a surprise, honestly, in today's age. And kind of set us back. So we made some bad moves from that. It was kind of like a butterfly effect. So, I think, we can learn a lot from the Eaton Diaz offer, and I think we should always, jump on opportunities like that. I'm kind of speaking and reflecting to either the White Sox or Nats that he was on, and I think we should, be better in life.
I like the way you put that.
I mean, well said.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, pretty factual.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were looking for an outfielder at the time, and Adam Eaton. I mean, he did have a big contribution to that the 2019 Nationals team.
Certainly did.
The team that beat your St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
Someone call him a backbone.
A backbone for sure. He was a great player.
Yeah. Great. He's good.
He was good. He was
very good.
He was fine.
He was fine.
He was good in the World Series.
He's better than Fowler.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. John Fozelak always dropping knowledge on us. We appreciate when he decides to chime in.
It's the way he puts things.
But honestly, it's the way he worded everything today that was perfect.
Jamie, I agree. Mm-hmm. All right, time for some criticisms and some compliments here on 101 ESPN.
Yeah, so we from 314, we're talking about Turbo from the pillow fighting. Turbo Johnson is a stand-up guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marsh, you wound up talking about a different Turbo.
Yeah, but Turbo Johnson was the guy that you brought up.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard of him, but the texter saying he's a stand-up guy, so he must be.
Yeah. He was also describing the way he fought and him as a human being.
Yeah.
Moral standpoint.
Oh, so he stands up when
he's
he fights.
a stand-up fighter.
He's solid. He doesn't go down to the ground.
He's solid.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Always up for it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Big time.
Kyle from our YouTube page said, best looking afternoon radio show, hands down.
Thanks, Kyle.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. We needed that lift, I think,
We
and
did.
you provided it, Kyle. Thank you. And without seeing you, we all agree you all are also a good-looking dude.
Yeah, fit in perfectly.
No doubt.
We were talking about some trades that we were making. Obviously, John Fozelak just brought up the Adam Eaton and Aledmus Diaz trade that did not happen, if that was actually a thing.
Eaton Diaz.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 636, you can get Tim Anderson for a knockout deal. I found that to be pretty funny.
Yep.
My shortstop's got to have better chin than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't square up like that and then just eat dirt.
Did our guy Alex Ferrario say Tim Anderson actually won that fight?
Yeah, he alluded to
Yeah.
something about because he squared up. It was a really bad argument.
Okay.
I love you, Alex Ferrario, but nowhere on this planet or universe did Tim Anderson win that fight.
Jose Ramirez was definitely just swinging. Blindly.
Yeah.
He was bobbing back and forth, though. I saw the breakdown on Twitter, and Anderson missed with like 3 different pitches. And,
right.
So, therefore, when Ramirez came back with the overhand right, caught him on the button there.
You know, guys, sometimes in life, you make a decision, and that decision is removed from you. You know, it's taken from you. And sometimes you make a different decision because of that. And it winds up working out really, really well.
You're absolutely right, Anthony. I couldn't agree more.
I'd like to thank Tyler O'Neill for getting scratched today.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, not what you were thinking.
Okay.
Because Nolan Arenado just touched seats.
Oh, wow.
Nice job, Nolan.
Congratulations,
Thank
Anthony.
you. Thank you.
It's an asterisk.
Well,
Definitely not.
Honestly, I just put an asterisk right next to it,
No,
actually.
you can't. No, that's a legit home run.
Yeah, but
I called it. First home run, it counts.
If Dylan Carlson hits a home run or Nolan Gorman, we're going to have some issues. We're going to have some real issues.
They won't. We'll be fine.
Yeah, you're probably right. From the
1-0 Cardinals.
314, Jamie, you might find this funny. We got a text earlier today, right around that 2:05 time frame, 2:05 to 2:10 from the 314. Brad Thompson is not coming through on YouTube. I found that to be pretty funny.
I thought it was hilarious. It really was.
A little inside joke.
Because BT was on with us yesterday, and we were talking to Brad, and then silence because we didn't have the YouTube pod up.
No.
So today, when we were talking about baseball, they said BT is not coming through.
Sorry about that.
Found that to be
that was humorous.
Funny.
For sure.
Very.
We're still trying to figure out all this YouTube nonsense.
We're working on it.
We are. We certainly are.
And we got a text from the 636. The Texans are this year's Bengals. Anthony Stalter.
Hey, last year I said the Jaguars were this year's Bengals. And the Jaguars won the division. Okay? So we can laugh all we want about my prediction that the Houston Texans are going to be better than you people think. We just laugh. That's fine.
We got a great text from the 562, and I believe it to be true. Cardinals should trade for Tim Anderson. His swing and miss stuff is exactly what the Cardinals pitching's did.
Boy, that's, if he was a pitcher, certainly. That's a good text. All right, we'll end it there. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. We've got instant replay coming up from 6 to 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Danny Mack filling in for Jamie Rivers. For Andrew Marsh and Jamie, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.